Hello and welcome to Fully Charged Europe. It's episode 16 and I am Admirable. I'm joined here by kaidus, WARHURYEAH and Ips. I don't think Commander X got the memo. Maybe he'll just magically appear sometime between now and the end of the show, which could be hours away. So much to talk about. Obviously we're here in the aftermath of I-52. But we'll take a look back at that and we'll look ahead to all the interesting new prospects on the horizon for competitive TF2. I'm going to go straight to Ips. Give us your perspective online from I-52. What were your thoughts overall on the tournament, Ips?
I think it was sick. The games I've seen have been really, really good. I think I've never seen so much high level TF2 in 2 days, having played at the last LAN. So when you're at LAN, you never really get to see and watch the other teams play. So that was really nice. But to be fair, I haven't been around for most of the games. Like, I've seen the really high tier ones. I think I've seen all mix-up games. And then everything after the knockout stage, I think.
Were you satisfied with the result? WARHURYEAH were the best team. Spoilers if you
No.
missed it, guys. WARHURYEAH won.
No. It came a bit of a surprise to me that they were so dominant, because I've talked a lot to Nox before LAN, and we've been going through teams that he fears and he thinks are contesters and can be dangerous at LAN, and he said that he basically had 4G's number. Then I think it was more due to the people in his team that it ended up being such a fast final, to be fair. It was not necessarily his fault. Or he was not underestimating as such.
What's your verdict on how Epsilon played in that grand final? Was it disgraceful?
Well, I know
Did they dishonor
now.
Europe?
No, I don't know. I mean, obviously they had higher hopes for LAN, and everyone else thought they would play better finals. But what I know now about what happened and how the atmosphere in the team was, it was a bit off. It was just
Gonna go into detail
one of
on
those
that?
off days, I guess. Well, Walken, he was in that team, so I guess we should let him talk later on. Like, from what I've heard, from what Ward told me, it was just a day where people suddenly were off and half of the team was not playing. And then, I mean, you can lose a game of TF2 very, very fast, as you've seen. So
10 minutes.
there's like a story where Sam and Merlin were watching the finals together, and Merlin went for a pizza, and he came back and the finals were over, and he was really disappointed. So yeah, you can lose TF2 very, very fast. Especially the last game was Gully Watch, right?
Bruce or
Process?
Badlands? I forget. I can't remember.
Process Gully was
Yeah, and Gully was really fast, right? Like Gully.
very fast.
Yeah, it's such a fast map if you get rolled. So
kaidus, I'd like to hear what you have to say on the finals before we give War another chance to read out his laundry list of excuses.
Well, yeah, the finals are pretty garbage. Really, I don't know, like, you all saw what happened, so I'm not going to retell the thrilling tale. But I personally was like, I was watching with, I think I was with Commander X, and when we heard the second map was Gully, we were like both really confused because we didn't understand why WARHURYEAH got 2 picks in a row. Literally couldn't believe that Epsilon picked Gully Wash because, like, I don't know, just from talking to people the day before, like, someone asked me who's going to win. I was like, well, Epsi will probably win their map, but WARHURYEAH will pick Gully and Process and win both. So when I found out that Epsi actually picked Gully, my head kind of fell into my hands. That was a real bad one. But yeah, the rest you saw.
During the cast, like, I just assumed that it was 2 picks for WARHURYEAH because, you know, they're coming in from the upper bracket and it's not like a true double elimination. I thought they would just get that as their bonus.
advantage.
I heard someone say that
sense.
I heard someone say that Epsi had a good game against some other team on Gully Wash, and that's why they picked it. But I don't know. It just kind of looks like poor research, I guess, because like, you play a map against one team, it doesn't really mean much about how it will go against another team, and it was kind of like every kid in Div 6 knew that, like, you don't really pick Gully against WARHURYEAH the way they're playing on it.
Yeah, that, like, Gully is renowned to be like one of the best maps that Froyo can play, right? So if you
Yeah.
care a bit, then you know that. And that
Yeah,
was really weird.
It was like the most obvious picks in the world. Like Epsi are renowned for being bad on process compared to other maps, and renowned for being good on gully. I don't know. That was like mindfuck.
War. Speak. Tell us about your
Uh,
kitten and about I-52.
He's sleeping at the moment.
What's the name?
For everyone. His name's Jesse. Because
Jesse.
there's a guy at work. It's from Breaking Bad. The massive Breaking Bad. Call it Jesse.
Wow.
Oh, it's just sleeping. It's so cute.
Okay, let's move on.
Is it on camera right now? I can't see.
It was on
apologies for
camera.
having no camera, by the way.
It was
I can't
on
find my
camera a
camera.
few moments ago. I streamed before this, but it was just
It was just 100 people
just
watching your
people
kitten.
playing with my kitten. Yeah. Good.
Tell us about I-52 then now. We've got like a week's perspective. You were a bit frustrated, obviously, when we did the post-finals cast.
I think everybody did well when I was talking to Nox afterwards and everybody after the game. We sort of exceeded our expectations. Like going into LAN, like on the Wednesday, we were a bit irate before LAN because we hadn't been practicing and our results were really poor. We weren't very dominant. So on Friday, when we went 7-0 during the whatever stage, happy. Knockout, I don't know. I think my thoughts are the only way that we were going to do well is by getting it and just out DMing everyone. And I think the longer the tournament went on, poorer performances because people understood that we had no real plan, and it was just if they could just focus on the DM fight and focus on out DMing us, then we'd be sort of crumbling. Because I think against all the teams on the first day, we've pretty much done very well against minus, which went to a golden cap and we won. And the next day, everything just sort of started. We didn't have any sort of real game plan apart from DM. Obviously, the further in the tournament that you go, harder the games become. It requires more discipline of your team and coordination, and we just didn't have that. And on the Sunday,
on the other hand, completely had that against you, right?
I think people are forgetting that the Epsilon before this played together for a year, and we had only been playing halfway through the season with our pool lineup. Then after that, we hadn't really been sort of playing that well. Like our results are very.
It was sort of cruel. It was like in the lead up to the tournament when he was giving Europe a chance, really, or it seemed that way. Like everybody was hyped for the Australians and the North Americans, and you guys made us believe by like winning the groups, making it to the finals.
Yeah, but people were going for the Australians for romantic reasons.
Yeah.
Like they were like,
everybody was going because they had a good story behind it.
Yeah, and like it would have been nice if they would have won because then it would be like every nation basically, or every like NA wins one tournament, Europe does, and then India, and would have been cool.
Yeah,
but I don't think like people that said that they actually have chances to win, maybe not have had like the insight into the American teams that others do. I don't know. Just felt a bit weird from time to time.
Yeah, I think like the American teams had a bigger advantage of knowing each other, but I think it's just more poor. What's the word? Preparation. The European teams. I mean, Mike was telling me that halfway through the season, the reason why they put Nox on Pocket and the lineup that they had is because they weren't even sure if they wanted to go to LAN or not, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, let's go." And then they had to sort of switch everybody around as they then sort of decided that they were going to go.
The same sort of motivation they had before, where they were trying to come back and regain some honor for Europe. It was just like an afterthought.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Because I really fucking tried like so hard. Like I just went through with sort of my demos because during the season I think I've been playing pretty poorly through the entire season with Epsilon. I think I did pretty well at LAN because I just sort of went through everything, just tried to find what mistakes I made, trying to see what I have to do to play the team more. I think if you notice our games, the first day it was very, very pocketed on me. When we played against 4G during the knockout stage, we lost a game, and then for some reason we stopped pocketing. We then switched Mike back onto pocket, and I was just more in support. And I think that's sort of where we crumbled a bit, because I think we were doing so well because everybody was sort of in sync. We were sort of double roaming, Mike making space for me. We were sort of forcing some sort of structure. Yet when we switched back to Mike pocketing more, we sort of didn't have as much structure anymore and as much teamwork. Sort of the same thing. Mike bombs in, does shit. I clean up with the scouts, and then afterwards it just didn't happen. It's sort of, I don't know. We just put like another example. Nox made like a huge Word document and his infamous pictures with diagrams and stuff on like a week or two before LAN, and nobody went for it because most people are on holiday. Like, I'm pretty sure I was the only one that went through it. But yeah, it's just disappointing.
And your enemies, everyone that got them on the other teams went through it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with our performance, but I'm just very disappointed with the final because, you know, as soon as we accepted community money, to sort of give back to the community and say, look, you know, we shouldn't have had to ask you for the money. We fucked up, which is why we have to ask you for the money. I sort of wanted to sort of, you know, give them something in return, some decent, you know, decent final game, and it just didn't happen. Like, I'm happy with everything else.
A lot to you, like you were always on the camera a lot during the productions. Very expressive, and I think I can definitely agree with you that even since the start of last season, I think you've come on leaps and bounds as Demoman. Not that you were terrible, but like your game is definitely sharpened up a lot. You can still hit all those sick pipes, but you're making a lot better decisions from what I saw.
I'm not fucking overextending. Like the thing is that season, it was just everybody carrying me because I just fucking overextend, and I didn't do it during LAN, and then we fucking get trashed on the final game. Like, it's so fucking difficult not pressing the plus forward button when all you do is press it all the time.
I gotta ask then, Kaidus, give us the Insomniac perspective, and we'll take a look at some of the other EU teams before we move on to what's coming up this season, I guess.
The Insomniac perspective, I don't know. We did okay by the end. Trying to think back, I don't really remember the first day. We were pretty shit to begin with. I don't really know why, but we changed a few things around and then started playing pretty decent. But I don't know. We made a pretty significant change to our playstyle after we got thumped by Mix-Up on day 2. But like, it was quite a significant change, so we had to practice.
What was it that you changed specifically?
Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying we were pocketing me, but I was taking, like, I'd never taken like an Uber when Zeba was alive. Up until this day in this team. Started taking more Ubers, some Ubers, more Ubers, and basically, yeah, Zeba was doing this gunboat stuff for mids and stuff, and we've been playing around with it. It never really been like me pocketing. I wouldn't quite say we went that far for 2 anyway, but it was a lot closer to that, and it was working better. But like, it was something we really practiced, so we were just basically winging it. I mean, it worked pretty good against IM. Like, if we could push last, I think we probably should have won that game if we were just a bit more clinical with our last pushes. But that's what happens when you make a pretty drastic change to your pushing structure.
Was that just desperation then?
It wasn't really desperation. It was just kind of like, I don't really remember. Like, Miralyn suggested it. Like, Miralyn and Zebo both kind of separately listed it to me, like, one-on-one. I was just like, yeah, sure, guys, whatever you want. Like, probably would have suggested it a while ago, but like, when Zebo joined the team, like, he was pretty clear about how he wanted to play and what having him on pocket meant. So like, this was the type of thing that I would never kind of bring up, because I know Zeba doesn't really enjoy pocket, so I just kind of wanted him to have the least bad time he could. So this sort of stuff wasn't something I would bring up until they suggested it.
He doesn't enjoy what? Sorry, I didn't understand that. He doesn't enjoy what?
Pocket? He doesn't really enjoy pocket, so when he agreed to play pocket, he kind of had, he made it clear, like, if he was to join and play pocket, this was kind of how he wanted to do it. So these kind of changes with me taking Ubers, like, that's one of the few things always about pockets about playing pocket, is taking the Ubers. wouldn't have ever really suggested that I start taking these like solo movers and stuff. But when it came down to it, we had to change something, and this was the obvious change to make, I think. And like, yeah, it worked better, but it was too little to do. And also on day one, I don't know, it was weird on day one. We went into every match garbage. Like against Epsi, we went 3-0 down, and the second half was okay, and then we just got win difference in the end because we had to make these pushes because we were already so far down. Kind of the same story against Froyo as well. Like the first few minutes we was garbage, lost 2 rounds, and then it was pretty even game for large stretches. But I don't know, something just wrong at the start of each game, fucked it up. But then after mix-up, we just made pretty big changes.
How did you guys feel about the performance of Reason?
I have to ask something though. So you said that the change you made was that you're more taking the Ubers, which would essentially lead up to Zebo playing more of a loose role in a team, right? Like he can. Okay, has that to do with what James and me have been talking before you guys went to LAN? That from time to time he just has to make plays on his own as if he's a second roamer. Like, you know, like where is this coming from? That suddenly you took the Ubers. Like, what triggered it? Was it you? It was not you underperforming, I guess, or you suddenly needed more heals.
To be honest with you, I can't really like. LAN is just a bit like a blur for me. I was feeling pretty lousy the entire weekend, like physically and mentally. Kind of a blur I've led up to it, but one memory that sticks out is he would always say when we played Pepsi that his like style of Ubering didn't work because they just expect like Nox knows what he wants to do, so they would always. So this was probably one reason, but like I say, it's kind of like a blur in my memory. I can't really remember.
Okay.
You'd become too predictable.
Well, yeah, I mean that was one aspect, but that was something we talked about online a bit. Like, it wasn't like they came up to me and said, "Yo, this is too predictable. Let's do it like this from now on." Like, that was just something I remembered from a while ago. Contributed. Really better off asking them because, like I say, it's all haze for me.
Oh, let me actually, now that I remember, jump back and ask War. Ips was saying that there was something bad mojo in the Epsilon team. You didn't go into that specifically.
Oh, I like that, sir. What was the question? I won't hear it again.
You were mentioning earlier, like 5 minutes ago, that there was some strange atmosphere in Epsilon.
It wasn't a strange atmosphere before LAN with our performances, and we weren't being as dominant as the last Epsilon. There wasn't really any strange atmospheres. I think some people, well, honestly, I think there was a few times when people just sort of choked.
Name names.
I'm not going to name names, but
name and shame.
Against what was it? Classic mix-up in the best of 3 game. We lost the first map Badlands 5-0. And like no one has the motivation to actually sort of just go into a game and sort of try. Involved us going to a second Nox having to sort of yell at people to sort of try and communicate. Like you'd obviously, you know, his infamous "Are you motivate to win" sort of phrases and stuff like that. Like, and it was just like that in the final as well. We had people that were just sort of mute, not really paying attention to his calls or anything like that. And it was quite frustrating because, as I was saying before, during the season, it was me that was doing that. Now everybody else was doing what I was doing about, like, not really sort of paying attention to the calls and stuff. And it's just sort of, yeah, I think that was sort of maybe the main reason why we sort of made it quite different for us in certain games, because we just sort of switch off and not really. It's annoying because if you watch I think it's on my VODs on YouTube, there's quite a few times when people just sort of mute, and it just means that we're not playing together. Like some people, I mean, it's the reason why we got so far is because it just relied on everybody making plays, and if plays weren't being made, we would sort of just fall back and fall off the game.
So like no belief in the team, or like you guys didn't care?
But no, people did care, but I think it's just people getting into the game. Like I think on the final it's a good example, but many excuses as to why they felt they underperformed. I think it's like, you know, how early it was, the supposed drinking the night before, people not being able to like eat or anything because the shuttle bus was late, but you know, like there were just times before when people just weren't fucking prepared, and I think it happened the whole weekend where we had to sort out someone had a technical problem or some shit, and because we were so bad at scheduling and playing our games all the time, we didn't give ourselves any time for a break and all that shit, and it was just, it's the same with most of the season when we sort of try and organise PCWs and then someone at the last minute decides they can't show up. Just poor preparation and people just not sort of being considerate. Like, I think there was a few of us. I think it was me, Mike, and Kyler. I know I didn't miss a PCW. I think Mike didn't miss a PCW as well. Like, Nox missed games. That was just because of work, and that's unfortunate.
Was Tech and Bash, I guess, right?
Bash missed some games. He just say in the morning that he can't play. It's annoying because like there would be a week on Thursday, and Mike would get all the games ready for next week, and then we would play like maybe one game out of all those 4 days. And it's just sort of things like that, and I don't know. I don't think people were underprepared at LAN, but people just weren't fucking focused. They didn't have their heads in the game, which is why we had to literally shout at people for the first half of the map, and then we'd start playing through the second half. That's what happened to the final, but we knew we would lose process because it was our worst map. We felt confident on Gully Wash. Like, literally, honestly, the map picks we literally had about 30 seconds to choose a map. It was really annoying. I wanted map elimination because I said, why not just do it? They can eliminate 2 maps, we eliminate 1, so they have an advantage. Because then it means that people aren't playing the best maps and the games can go on longer. They're like, no, we want to do picks. Like, brilliant. So we literally just had to rush into a pick, and that's probably why we picked Gully Wash, just because we didn't think. Like, we were more concentrating on setting up than we were picking maps, but powerful. Like, most of the time, it's just, I think this is why it's so frustrating, because most of the things and most of the reasons why are pretty bad can be avoided and could have been avoided, but never mind.
It's kind of like, I don't know if ironic is the right word, but like the thing everyone always said about EBSI was how badly organized they were. And
Yep.
like, yes, it was the same with the old lineup, but it never really caught up to the old lineup, but it seems like it just kind of caught up to this one a bit.
I think it's just
Literally
because
just
the old lineup had sort of the experience playing with each other, and I always knew that we had to sort of start playing more or land. That's why I expected us to finish like 4th behind. I thought 4G and IM were going to be in the final, then mix up, then us maybe. Like, I wasn't even confident on us finishing 4th. That's just because like we literally had no sort of teamwork or organisation. We didn't have anything set on middles because nobody was there and available. And I think the old Epsilon, because they had played for a year, even if they didn't play that much, they'd actually have an extended amount of time to actually try this stuff. So yeah, it's just, thing that we're famous for is ultimately caused us to fuck up so bad. That bad. Maybe it's just caused us to fuck up final because all the other games leading before that were absolutely amazing.
Fuck
Yeah,
up in a
I'm worried
very
that we're-
dramatic fashion. Like, that's the worst part about it. You wouldn't mind losing
No.
4-3 or something.
Like,
It's the way that it happened, I guess.
some guys are using the excuse here that if it was later during the day, it probably wouldn't have lost. I think we would have still lost regardless of what time happened. If it happened at 9 p.m, if like everybody on Epsilon had been fully rested, had a nice little kip, breakfast, Kyler had his cottage cheese from the pot and all that shit, we were fully prepared, we still would have lost. It would have been by a less significant margin because we just got completely fucking outgamed. Like, even when I could tell that we're going to get outgamed because everything from them just seemed perfect. The way that they played, understood what each other was doing, everything was sort of in sync with them. All of their bombs were in sync, all their plays were in sync, everything was just perfect. So regardless of if we had played at like 9 o'clock later time, we would have still probably lost. It would have probably been like, I don't know, I reckon we've gotten a few rounds, but I think ultimately it would have been like 5-2, 6-2 across both maps.
Yeah, I'm worried that we're focusing. Obviously, the final was disappointing, but up until that point, the tournament had been amazing. Dare I ask, how do you think it stacked up to I-49, which was probably the previous high point.
What do you mean, like this performance?
No, I mean like the LAN in general, the whole tournament.
I think it was really fucking good. Like, this is the reason why I was so disappointed, was because the production and everything, the community effort was so fucking good. Like, it was so hyped and it was so amazing, and it was just a flaccid end. But still, you know, I was like I really enjoyed it. Like, most of the time when you play for a team and you sort of get far in the tournament, you're like really pissed off because it gets so frustrating and it's so sort of difficult, because like the further you go, the more you're playing, the less relaxing you can do. But it was still absolutely amazing. Like the lower constellation final against Mix-Up was fucking awesome, and the whole atmosphere and everything there was really, really, really good. The production just sort of topped it off. Like, I just like watching the VODs back of all the games just because of how sort of really well done it is, and it sort of really does sort of make it a lot better.
I want to ask as well then, guys, everybody can just throw out their opinions here. We had a few other teams from Europe there in that invite group. Obviously Reason, Publiclear, aka Saints, AO Girl. What do you think of their performances? Any players in particular that stood out for you? Leading into like some of the new teams that have been created, obviously.
Huey was particularly bad for his team, and he made them all very, very sad.
Up there?
Well, yeah, but he even said it himself after LAN. And I had my German entourage messaging me instantly at LAN, telling me how they felt about it, and yeah. I felt particularly bad for Rising, because they played a Viaduct in front of 5,500 people, where he went 4-19 and people called him the Nutson and shit. He literally couldn't follow up any damage because Huey was just selling his team out big times, which he is pretty renowned for, to be fair. But I felt like he was very underperforming for that team, and they couldn't really do much because you're very, what's the term, bottlenecked? When your demo isn't performing? Yeah.
I heard a story, or it's like in between games, whenever they were complaining that Huey was beating them out, and it was like, I think it may have been Sam was telling me this story. No, nothing you tell me is secret, Sam, sorry. But he was like, he was pushing in to a mid or something, and Huey was like, yeah, I'm in, guys, I'm in. And he sees the pipes fly from behind him, and like, they're like, what the fuck is this shit? But it was really interesting, like being able to walk through the hall and just pick up a little bits of conversation like that. The North Americans were all like, Mix-Up were always having these team talks, these huddles after their games and stuff, and I would just stand in and listen to their whole thought process. I find that quite fascinating. But sorry, staying on topic here. Any what did you guys think of Saints, AO Girl? Like, any players really stepping up for LAN? Did you see any new talents rising up there? What about Dragon? Have an opinion on how he played at LAN?
I didn't really notice any of the other players.
When you're playing, you don't really get to see a whole lot. You just see your matches against them for the most part.
Especially teams like the lower teams. You concentrate more on the fellow top teams more than anything else, to be honest. Oh yeah, sorry. You sort of focus on the teams around your level instead of the teams.
I can't hear anything. Is it me?
It must be.
It was fine.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
I just repeated myself for no fucking reason. Yeah. So I said for a third time, can you hear me, just to make sure?
Mic check.
Like 1, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Basically, you don't really notice the shit teams. I know it's unfair, but don't. You just notice the other teams that you're playing because you want to try and get as much information and see how each of them are playing as much as you can. So you don't really notice the teams that aren't really going to cause you much trouble. There wasn't anybody really that stood out majorly.
I think when we played them, they were already like, they'd already all had enough. They all wanted to go home or stop playing or whatever. So it was an easy game. And we played Saints when we were like, I have no fucking idea when we played Saints. It wasn't.
We almost lost to Saints.
What?
Yeah. Process. Just messaged me saying, ask War about the game against Saints.
That was just because it was process, and I don't think anyone really gave a shit. So it was just sort of like, fuck it, just go with it.
To be fair, I know what it feels like to lose to Saints on process.
What did I stutter at LAN almost on Gully Wash?
Like, we didn't know. We didn't really care. We weren't really scared that we were going to lose either. think most of it was just sort of people just pissing about, and then maybe for the last 5 minutes we're like, oh shit, they might beat us. That was it.
What happened to AU Girl? I know they just got beaten by everyone, right?
They got incredibly fucking hammered.
They lost to
like both in game and outside of the game.
TC.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh wow, wow.
If I'm honest, I really don't. I think they're happy with that because then they could just carry on with drinking again.
I guess.
I think
Big throw.
In light of everything that happened at LAN, I said this to someone at the time, but I really think the 8-team bracket might have been a mistake. Like, I can't bother to go into the full description. I think it was actually an invite bracket, then an extra qualifying bracket for knockouts for the open group. Would have made the tournament structure a lot better. Like, you could have cut it down a lot and made it so the lower bracket finalists weren't playing till 1 a.m. before our 10 a.m. final. Well, I won't bother going into all the details, but I think it might be something to consider for next to like throws in the invite group.
Two is, I think the reason why I went so late was just because of our poor scheduling abilities as well.
But there's always, this time it was your poor scheduling abilities, next time it's a PC blue screening or like it's LAN, it's happened and no one's going to take a default win because of this sort of stuff.
Actually, yeah, I think one of the other things as well is Mix-Up always taking a fucking 15-minute break on every opportunity that they could get against Immunity. Every single game that ended, they went up and had a 15-20-minute break. So
even in between maps and stuff, there was like being 15-minute breaks taken and stuff.
The only time that we took a 15-minute break was during the Golden Cap on Granary. Then we could discuss what we're going to do and we won it.
Didn't you show up late and shit?
No.
Tech didn't bring a PC.
Actually, maybe.
I heard it showed up like
Platinum,
you guys literally showing up too late.
I think it was to be honest, there's too many games where we probably showed up late. I think it might have been
against Reason. You were in late. I remember because we were waiting to play Reason, and I walked over them like after waiting for 45.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be over, and I'd be like, "Hey, to play." And you hadn't started, so I walked over to Bash, and I was like, "You're aware you were supposed to start this match 55 minutes ago?" He just looked at me and said, "No, really?" Like you were just like kind of half on the server, but like half of you not really gearing up to play yet. Like
most of the time,
having no idea. It was like 55 minutes.
I was on the fucking server. I just had all the schedule because like 3 of them went to fucking Tesco's or some shit. Tyler getting his fucking pot of cottage cheese that he just sat there and ate next to me. It was disgusting.
It was like, you played this mix-up game in the 7 o'clock week. I don't know, you played this mix-up game at 7 and then you had like a break after that of an hour.
Yeah, that was like I think that was on the group stage when we played mix-up and then we went on for an interview. We're like, oh shit, we actually have to play the next game now, and then everybody else had disappeared. I don't know. I think the six game group would have definitely helped a bit, but I think ultimately we would have just taken the piss out of the extra time that we would have had anyway. We would have just given people an extra hour to be late by. But yeah, I think that would have because there was no reason for Saints or Girl to be in that group, to be honest, because they didn't really have any sort of. Did Saints win a game?
I think Saints knocked IO down to a lower bracket.
Yeah, so they probably just won game and that was it. Like, yeah, it was just like last year as well when you had who was that really shit team? I think it was like Starter. That were in the invite group as well of the super team Elemental Violence.
Yeah, there's LB and Did I Stutter.
Yeah, sort of completely pointless. It just literally just cannibal, and I think it just sort of wastes too much time.
Like my theory was, you just on day 2, you just have an 8-team knockout, and instead of having the open group starting late, you have like an extra bracket for open group winners, and they kind of compete for the last 2 spots, like with the 6 teams from the invite group, and then you can just have the games like you cut out like 1 or 2 games of on Saturday, so you can.
Yeah, I sort of suggested that as well. Or I did question it in the show that would it just be better to have even buys or whatever, that was it sort of pointless to have it set up that way, but keep things moving. Obviously there's a lot more to LAN, the whole social side and everything. We're not going to really delve into that too much. It won't be a complete post-mortem. I'm not even going to mention Coleman, otherwise Ips will just
Me?
yeah, man, that was the highlight of LAN for me, reading all these threads in TFTV. Ips fucking keyboard warrior, responding to every post.
Yeah.
But
having witnessed that situation, it was blown out of proportion more than anything else I've ever seen at LAN.
and it's weird, like reading the perspective of people online, like what they think's happening at LAN based as compared to like you actually being there and experiencing it. Like the rumors about Epsilon getting drunk and all this
stuff. In that
stuff.
situation, all I care about is Siegel's opinion, not Kaidus's ones.
Well,
anyway,
having witnessed what happened... Actually,
what do you mean you have witnessed it? You literally told me after LAN that you don't really know what happened.
Well,
so don't tell me now that you've witnessed it.
What are you on about? I was there like the whole time. What the fuck are you even saying?
That you don't actually know what happened and who bumped into him. And it could have been you, it could have been Coleman, like that's all the shit that you told me.
What are you on about? Yeah, I don't know it like play by play every single like physical manifestation of that occurrence, so like there was no malice intended by anyone, and there was no like people on the forums saying assault, things like this, and deliberate like interruption. There was none of that. Nothing like that happened.
But I didn't even say that either. All I did was post his chat log and say that Coleman is a drunk idiot. Which he is, to be fair.
Yeah.
See you later.
I was sitting around on the morning after, we're just reading all these threads in TFTV on stage, and Coleman was like...
The Yankees were pretty upset with it.
Coleman has didn't have many nice things to say about you, Ips. I'm setting this up for a future LAN fight.
We're just gonna have a belly dance fight against each other. That's what it's gonna be.
Let's talk about the upcoming season. Obviously, ETFTL just put a news post out there, but we knew it was happening. There are new medals, very nice. The sign-ups are open tomorrow, and provisional divisions coming out 2 weeks after that. So things are really going to be heating up. Just, I guess, we'll start from the perspective of the LAN teams. I'm going to look down this list of teams here on comp.tf. They did a great job of covering the event, by the way. Check them out. But Epsilon are dead. Somniac are dead.
Can you just take a shot and say everyone is dead?
Are dead. Saints are dead.
Europe is
Girl,
dead.
we're never alive. So there's lots of players in the pool here. New teams to be formed. Tell me all the gossip. Who wants to go first? Jump in.
Warren, we are making a team with Rising, Kyle, Merlin, and Sam? Yeah, Sam. Yeah. Well, that's pretty fun so far.
What's the motivation behind this? Like, obviously, you've taken some time out from TF2. Have you been itching to get back into it?
Well, the way it started was that War told me that he's keen on making a team for next season, and he didn't even chat to me, I think, with the intent of getting me to play TF2, but he was soldiers he wants to get for a team, and then I said, don't get them, just play with me, and then, yeah.
Oh, no, wait, no, it was because I was asked to join Nutson's off-class thing as a pocket, and then you were like, why all the good players joining shit teams?
Oh yeah, why is everyone fun teams? Like, what's the point of that?
And then
why
you were like, Meriden spoke to you to make a team next season, and then it started from there.
Yeah, and then we said we want to do it, and I like it. Like, for me, it's tempting because I haven't played with half of them, so it's not like a recycled Infuse or whatever. Like, the only player I've played with in there is Sam, I think, and Rising back in AO but that's, yeah, he got a lot better, I think, after, not AO Roberto. I was not in AO holy. So yeah.
You wish, mate. You
like,
wish.
I was really looking forward to play with Merlin. I know he's an idiot, and he can be annoying at times, but I think if you can learn how to handle it, it's fun.
This is me again.
Yeah,
can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
James? Back?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
So
What
yeah,
were you
it's
saying?
refreshing to play with a good medic, just like someone that can dodge rockets. Yeah. And that was the reason why we wanted to do it. And like the plan is to actually stay together until next summer, Len. Yeah.
So, what's the sort of structure of the team? Then, are you going to be the caller? Are you taking full responsibility? Is this your baby?
No, I think it's gonna be like Marilyn is doing a lot of the calls at the moment, and then it's just everyone is calling a lot. To be fair, Kyler obviously isn't like calling that much. It's not necessarily his role, but Roy's calling a lot and doing some things, and Rising is really good on calls. Well, like these additional calls, not main calls. So it's I have to main call less than I'm used to, and I have to pocket less than I'm used to.
I think
Have you
it's
guys been-
everybody's sort of pretty. Everything seems to be gelling well all the day, so it might just all fall apart once we play against some decent competition.
Yeah.
But
And the name of the team?
What's it called? Ari Magic? Magic? Ari Magic Gaming. Because he's our sponsor, he gave Merlin a 120 Hz monitor that he could keep at LAN. And yeah,
Wow.
he's officially our sponsor for now. But we're gonna look into some orgs afterwards, like in the future. If things, yeah, are looking good.
I'm surprised Merlin's PC can actually support 120Hz monitor.
It probably can because he's
Yeah, I was
constantly
thinking-
complaining about lagging and shit.
He has like a 120Hz monitor running at like 50 FPS or something.
Yeah. So
doesn't
yeah,
matter because I can't see more than 30 FPS anyway.
fuck up. We only see 26 FPS. So yeah,
Yeah.
like we've played some scrims.
Who's actually playing at the minute? Like, are there any teams worth playing?
We play who did we play? Who do we actually play?
played? Fuck, who did we play? GG World
Russians.
played
We play the Russian team constantly.
Coast to Coast.
What's coast to coast?
That shitty team of fuck, who's in it?
Ramagan.
Ramagan. That's the one. Kratos' team as well.
Yeah, and when we played with the lineup we were looking for, we had these very good results. Obviously, that's not meaningful at all at the moment since no one is playing. But it's good to see that it is not close from the beginning and against teams that we should beat convincingly.
I don't think the competition's going to get that much longer, to be fair. At least not this season.
Yeah. So I like
Easy money.
one thing that War and me are pretty keen on, and which is really refreshing to see as well that he cares about this, is that we're not really focusing too much on the European teams. Like we just want to see how Froyo did the things they did, because we think that their soldiers in particular were very, very good, synchronized with each other, and had very well played at LAN together. And that's something you don't really see that often in Europe. Like you have separated, very talented soldiers playing together, like let's say Tech and Mike, but individually, like they don't work as a team. You know what I mean? They do different things in the teams they do, and yeah, just want to see if we can mimic that a bit.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means at the moment. Like we will see if that's feasible in like a few months, but that's at least what the idea was.
The bar had been set by Froyo Tech, to be honest, and they're sort of like, like Epsilon did it last season. Before that, it was Mix Up. So they've sort of raised the bar to the level that everybody has to get to. That sort of, whether an international LAN happens or not, you still have something to sort of go by and to improve on ourselves.
Yeah, you're only ever going to be as good as your competition, I guess, or that's going to be like maybe a limiting factor who you can get to practice against. So tell me about the other teams that are forming for this season.
I know
Broder.
Zebo is doing him on off class, Zappis, Boomer, Hiss, Pocket Soldier, Nuts and Medic, Ribbon demo, and then another scout, I think. I don't know.
Is it, Jason? Do you know that?
They don't know yet.
I think
I'm pretty sure they had arranged trials with the 2 scouts you guys took. they're trying Happy one day. I think I did have a name in my head of who they were trying another day, but I don't know. But
Scrab.
they might be trying Scrab, yeah. They don't know yet. Like, they're trialing Hiss on Pocket. I don't think that's really locked in like the other 4 are, but they're probably going to end up taking him.
People
But
should
the
really,
other scouts kind of
people should really try to play with Grab. I liked him as a player. I just think that be thrown into a team like ours would have been a bit.
He was. I watched you guys play. I can't remember if it was Specking actually.
Yeah, yeah, you understand.
He looked so nervous.
Yeah, he was very.
He's a guy that like I'm told he's like the M hero, and he was like, you know, this thing you do where like you're nervous and you're playing scout. Like half the time when he was close to people, his mouse was just going everywhere, and it's like clearly not how he normally aims. And when he wasn't close, he wouldn't go close. Like he'd walk through a choke and just jump back and forward, spamming scout across the map. And it's like clearly he's just so nervous and doesn't want to draw attention to him making mistakes, so he instead just kind of does nothing.
Yeah, and makes the mistake.
So yeah, I think like we didn't see the best of him in that situation.
Yeah. But for me, it was like, in the past, I've been doing this a lot where we say, okay, there's like someone in Div 2 or Div 1 who's like really, really good, and we just take him in and then we play with him and make him better. But to be fair, I haven't made the best of experiences with
I
it.
think also
right?
like we had a ready-made product with Sam already there available as well.
Yeah.
So it's sort of hard to sort of want to try and take on someone new when you can just sort of skip all of that teaching and all that and just have something there just for you to jump into and start going on to more advanced stuff already.
Somebody spell out that ZSI roster for me. Who's playing what classes? Let the people know.
Zeppus is roaming soldier. Natsun is the medic. Zebo is the, I guess, aggressive scout, the flank scout. Yeah. And Pocket Soldier is Heis, and then they're trialing second scouts, and they wanted to try Carl or Sam, and I guess they're both not available, so they're going for Scrap or like Herpy or whatever. It's like someone like this.
Is Heis gonna be Colin then? His Pocket?
I have no idea.
He's just trialing right now. He's not part of the original.
I think the plan is like they're taking it reasonably laid back this season. Like they'll try it when they play, but it's not like super keen. And I think they're going to go back to something a bit more like representing their main classes next season.
I don't know.
I
understand why they're doing that, but to be honest, this is why it sucks so much. I know it's partially because Europe doesn't really have any motivation for you to actually try, because next season is just going to look like, meh prize pool, like some hardware prizes which you've got to fucking dish out to various parts across Europe. To me it doesn't really make sense for them. They're just planning to play properly the season after, because they're just going to be far behind. I think that's sort of damaging them in the long run.
Merlin gave me a chat log of him talking to Zebo after LAN, where Zebo told him that they're not playing together as a combo anymore, in which Zebo said that they don't want to go not keen as intended, that they really want to try to be as good as possible on this off-class thing, and that Merlin wouldn't fit in, basically. Something along these lines. So I don't know. We will see.
I think that's like BA is possible, like in context. Like they're not gonna. I think they're not gonna strive for first place. Like Zebo will always have a winning mentality, but I think like when it comes down to it, they know they're just like gonna just do the best they can really, and not give a crap if they lose. Obviously they'll try and win, but it's not like Broder or something where they'll be disheartened by not winning.
Yeah. Okay, then that's that team. We have. Yeah, who do we have? We have GG Well Played. Is Dad Forsaken messaged me saying it's Team Russia. GG Well Played is dead.
Yeah, they just
well being tagged as GG Well Played. Okay. So is that the same? How do I have to interpret that? That like, what does he mean?
Well, they're gonna go else. Like Forsaken was talking about making an EU team, maybe under the GG Well Played banner. Well, at least he didn't say this to me, but this is what I heard. But I have no idea if it's actually gonna happen or whatever.
Alright. That team is really weird, to be fair. I think playing them it's again a team where Shadowburn is put a bit to waste. I feel all the mechanical skill that he had going for him last season is now wasted for him just DMing on pocket. But this is literally what he does, just playing anti-air, just standing on spy and waiting for you to jump. And Forsaken just taking lots of heals as the crawling demo man.
Never seen a demo get as much heals as that.
Yeah,
It was fucking crazy. Like, it was like 10k Forsaken, and then the next guy down was like the Pocket Scout, and the boat soldiers were on like 4k or something.
I do think I got 13k heals at LAN at some point though.
But this is like every fucking game. Like,
Yeah.
this is their setup. Like, their default heal spread is like something I've never seen before.
Then what is this Ramagan team that you were talking about? From
That's
Coast to
Coast to Coast, but I don't really know of comment because we played they were shit. So yeah, that sort of sums it up.
Lego will be back as far as I know.
Oh, they get promoted.
But that's well.
It's gonna be a blast.
They have like a really tough time filling Premiership with teams, so I guess everyone and their
They
mom
have a very
can
tough
apply
time
at the
winning
moment.
as well.
Yeah.
So overall, will season 19 be one to write off, do you think? Is Ips's team too stacked? Are you guys just going to crush everything? What's Kaidus doing?
I think.
Oh yeah, what's Kaidus doing? I heard something about Skeech and Kaidus, and I've heard Kaidus mentioning Zoob more than I heard him mentioning him before during the last 2 days.
What? When did I mention Zoo?
Yesterday in like double mixes, get Zoob,
You
get Zoob,
haven't
and stuff
stopped
like
shouting
that.
about it
Yeah.
before.
And
I'm a really
I
big fan of you.
just thought that like that was because you guys are forming something. If not,
Well,
then I'm just sorry. Go for it.
I might make a team. Like, the first game we play will feature. Well, the first game that a group of players and I will play will feature Zoob. I haven't been shouting him from the rooftop.
That's why I knew.
Yeah, like this team of mine is like, I don't really know what'll happen with it, to be honest. We'll play this week. Well, like, I don't know. We're gonna play on Monday with me, Skeej, Zoob, Shadowburn, Hair P, and a scout. I don't know who that scout will be yet. I kind of wanted Skeej to come on and talk to me a bit about it. But like, it's only really gonna happen if it's enjoyable. Like, I'm not really desperate to play this season. I'm kind of like, I'm as much gonna trial myself as anyone else because my hand is in like a bit of a state post-LAN, so it might be a good idea for me to just take some time away. But if the team is fun, like when we play this week, if I have fun, then we'll probably play. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't count us like in with these teams that are like definitely going to play, because it's just kind of like an experiment at the moment. I would like to I don't know, for me, if the team happens, the idea is to kind of like make the player pool a little bit better for next season. Unless, yeah, like players like Zoob, Shadowburn, and Happy, I think they're all at this level at the moment where they're not like ready-made for like a top team, but I think they all could make this jump. If the team happens, I would like to help these players kind of get used to. I mean, if the team happens, this season isn't going to be great, so I imagine we'll be lurking in top 3 either way. Even if it's not the best, I'd kind of like to see these players be ready to make the jump then after this season, be in like these legit top teams that will contest like you guys' team. Like, not this season, but I think I'd like to get players that can make this jump and help them make it. Because for me, this season is just a write-off, to be honest. Like, there's no point trying to be competitive with the player pool that's there.
Know about the season 20 hype?
I've heard whispers.
Leaking rumors that season 20 is going to be huge with some big plans. Ips probably knows them all because he's in bed with Sonny Black. We just keep talking about the teams though. Like, I'm just seeing chat there, Dickers saying 425 will be back next season. They haven't gone away, you know. What's the status of Lazy Pandas? Are you going to... Zub is playing with Kaidus? Potentially? Are Lazy Pandas dead? I don't know.
Is Lazy Pandas his Highlander team?
I don't think Lazy Pan's playing, because like it's not like I convinced Zoob to go away from anyone. He's been playing with Kraus' team, stuff like this, so I just assumed he was available. I asked him if he wanted to try a game on Monday, and that was that. So it's not like I've you know, been sneaky and snuck him away from something. I get the impression he's not taken. So I think Lazy Pandas might be a rest in peace.
Let me ask you then, from a sort of national perspective, is there going to be a French team? I think I asked Nick at LAN. He said he wasn't planning to play this season. Nox
think so.
says he's going to cast. He's not going to play. But will that change in the next few weeks? Are we likely to see an all-French team or maybe an all-German team from what's left over from C play from Division 1 last season?
I don't think there'll be a
anything.
French team because I don't know. Quite a few of the other French players from the previous Insomniacs have most of them have left, no interest in playing. Nox will probably aim to come back, but I think ultimately he might know that he can't do it because of what happened with Epsilon last season. When I was speaking to him after LAN, he just said it was just too difficult because he'd literally have to come home from work and just play straight away. Like he wouldn't get a chance to just sort of sit down. So he might do, you never know, because he said that last year that he was quitting, but who knows? It'd be damaging for him, I think, if he does, because he's someone that really wants to put the effort in, and he doesn't have the time to. And I think he sort of gets a bit too frustrated with himself if he doesn't play to how well he knows he can. Really expect a French team. If it is, it might just be for a season, just because shits and giggles and stuff.
I think he's still really interested in TF2 because, like, after the grand finals or on that day, I remember talking to him and like he was really excited about the opportunity of casting. I think he was surprised that I said, yeah, he definitely could, no problem. But
is he casting in English?
Yeah, he's gonna give it a go.
Oh yeah, like the thing is, there's no denying like that. I mean, the fact that he's got like there's many. It's like Byte. These are people that are sort of moving and transitioning on in their lives, but they still come back to TF2 because it's their fucking hobby, and it's just fun to play. The community is nice sometimes, maybe more so for Nox than it is Byte, but it's a nice place to be. It's why I'm still playing the game, and I think it would be the same for Nox. You can't really quit because it's sort of been a big part of his life as well. I think like over 5 years. I can't really remember when TF2 was released now, to be honest, but he's never really going to quit. It's just whether or not you can sort of commit to the full time of being in a good team and being in a winning team.
I think he really wants to like share his knowledge as well, because I remember last year after Epsilon folded or whatever, Nox was telling me that he was like writing like a TF2 Bible, and he was asking could I help him with the English translation or whatever, but it never happened. They ended up playing again, so I suppose he didn't want to release all his plays and thoughts and whatever, but I think he's still got a lot to contribute to the community even if he doesn't play. Let me know any other teams. That Saints are dead because Onkaya doesn't have the time to play, nobody else wants to run the team or something, was what I heard at LAN, or my understanding of what's happened with them. I'm just looking at last season's tables here. Rocket are obviously dead. There could be another GG well played team, you're telling me. Insomniac dead, but will be on his Spirit 3 Zebasize 16 Phoenix dead. But a lot of their players are still planning to play, right? Skeege, Walters, Rib.
I hope these people find and try and make a serious team, because it's just shit how our scene just sort of has this lax attitude of everybody wants to sort of take a break from TF2, and I think
what is there to play for, man?
Yeah, I think that is sort of a big contribute to it. 'Cause I think I was talking to Clockwork about it after the final about Americans have lands to attend and something to sort of strive for and something to really sort of motivate your team to try for. Now they've got SIVA as well, which is also something that's really, really contributing, good prize pools and all that lot. But here we just don't have it. And, I don't know. We're sort of in a catch-22 because like we want to fucking try because we want to make sure the scene's really good. But at the end of the day, you've got fuck all to play for apart from headsets. A fucking ball ache sort of distribute.
I was pretty inspired by I-52. Obviously the TF2 was excellent, but just sort of as a demonstration of what can be achieved by the community without really much help from anyone. Thanks to multiplayer, but like I was on the ball then. I'll go on a little segue here. Camfo had messaged me earlier in the summer. They had a contact at DreamHack, if you remember that sort of Saints MGE thing
Yeah.
that happened previously at DreamHack, which was going to be, it wasn't going to be an official DreamHack tournament, but it's something to do with the Swedish government funding esports. So they had he has a contact there interested in putting on like maybe an 8-team tournament at DreamHack Winter, and I was talking to him at LAN face to face, and then we were getting into it, getting back in touch with this guy. It seemed really promising. When we actually got back in touch with him, he's already made other plans. So like that was one thing I was really interested in organizing or getting behind, but it's not going to happen this year. It could still be on for like 2015 Winter DreamHack. But like that was a real genuine prospect, like something really interesting.
Yeah.
But then as well, we'll just go straight into all the LANs here. Like Huhi is organizing another LAN, following up on the success of Info Show. Like that seemed to be well received by everyone who attended. Very cheap to go to Lithuania. Is that a real prospect? Are any of these new teams forming, intending to go to this Lithuanian LAN at the end of October?
There would have to be a significant prize pool for teams
Really?
to want to go. Yeah, but I think people will still go.
It doesn't
because
cost
of a
anything to
community
go.
thing.
Like, how significant does your prize pool need to be?
Well, that's the thing. The thing is, though, it's like Lithuania isn't exactly the nicest of fucking places to go. It's literally my granddad's shed. Like, just, you know, and the way Commander X put it to me, like he said, if you went there and you had a paper cut, you know, here you'd have all the necessary things that you need, like a plaster, some antiseptic wipes if it got really bad, but there you could probably just die from it for some fucking reason, you know, because you took a paper cut on some sort of like radioactive paper that was sitting there for about 50 years. It's like you were saying how they opened a window, how they had to get a fucking ladder on top of a desk to climb up to this window, and they had to prop it open with an empty bottle. You know? But the thing is that I think people will go there because it's like a community thing, and it's like, well, I'm pretty sure Dan Anderson said it was like 150 quid he spent the whole weekend. Now I spent about 350 quid for the weekend at Insomnia, so it's a significantly cheaper, like, in comparison. So I think it would be worth it. But I think for entire teams to go, you would sort of need a reason for people to go, and it's only been one, so I'm sure there's plenty.
I'll give you a reason.
All right.
Anyway,
What's it?
complaining that there's no offline events, no LAN finals. If you want it to happen, if you want that opportunity to practice and improve and beat the Americans next year, you got to get behind these events. Like,
yeah,
And
you
then
all need to go
you-
to Lithuania to win 250 euros.
And then
It's
you
not
go
about
to
the money,
Lithuania
man,
to
it's
play
like going
AO
to-
Girl.
Yeah.
Like,
The thing
no,
is
James,
that-
I know,
Well,
I
everybody
get
has
your,
this,
For
I
I get,
example, I get
your
what you
point.
mean, yeah. Like, we do need lands, and that is what we're asking for. But it's not that. We need someone to take a fucking risk with TF2, and that's the only way I think that TF2 are going to possibly do it in Season 20. And we need a LAN that as well. We need someone to take a risk to just put the money down and maybe get the return from it. Because this sort of LAN, Lithuania LAN, would be good if TF2 was just starting up and it was going to sort of get bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, the LAN could then grow with TF2. But the problem is that TF2 has grown, and we don't know, at the moment it's possibly at its peak. So we don't need something that is just growing. We need something that is also considering going straight for its peak as well. Like, it's just not going to work, because let's say we did it and teams went to October, you'd have fucking our team and then just about 6 other mixed teams. We won't
That's
go
what the
there.
season's going to be, though. There aren't any teams. It's
Yeah,
fucking
but
8 mixed teams in the
people
tournament.
aren't going to go there to play serious fucking TF2. They're going to go there to have a lot of fun and just get completely fucking drunk. No one's going there for the insane competitiveness between all the teams. And
Well, like, people are considering going over there to like cast. It could be a serious tournament. If we want to make it a serious tournament, we could absolutely do it. But like, if people aren't going to take it seriously, like, it's catch-22.
yeah, but I just don't think it's
Like,
we need
you
one of
say
the
there needs
winter
to be a big
lands.
prize pools, but
Yeah.
even the prize pool at Ice Series isn't that much. And like, I remember years ago, seasons, there was a significantly larger donated prize, and
Oh, yeah,
Darren was
yeah,
like
yeah.
making the point that like even if there's an extra 1,000 in the prize pot, that doesn't really mean much when you divide it by 6. Like the sort of numbers of magnitude that you need for people to really take notice off the back of a prize pool is like, you know,
But the thing is
10k,
that
20k before anyone's going to really
we
take
need
it seriously.
something like ESCA has. Well, ESCA have got in America. You know, that is sort of like, you know, those sort of LAN prize pools is what we kind of need.
Are you gear in disguise? Are you not going to play because there's no money?
Oh no, I ridiculous. Well, yeah, no, that's stupid. I'd always play no matter what. Even if like TF2 dies, I'm still just gonna fucking play because I like playing this game. I don't sit there and write my shitty blog in English with the worst grammar known to man because I'm doing it for the money, because I don't get any money for it. I do it because I like the game and I'll just enjoy it. But
It was never about playing or not playing.
Yeah.
It was about going to LANs or not.
But
It was about if you want to fly to Lithuania to play mixed teams or not.
yeah,
Like
I
we're
think-
gonna play this season, and we're not like no one in this team obviously plays for the thermal take mice and the €6 you will get in the end.
we're all playing
Just
for the
sheer
bigger
practice.
goal, and the thing is that we are honestly and probably the only team that is playing for the bigger goal. You know, to try and actually for if there's going to be an international land year. Now everybody else is just pissing about and taking a break.
Do you not think it's kind of like counterintuitive though, what you're doing?
Like,
Like,
I'm not taking a break.
No, not taking a break as such, but like, I don't know, having a conversation with someone at the moment who's talking to me about a potential team that can happen under any circumstances. But I said to him, no matter what 6 players you put together at the moment, this team isn't going to be your team. Like, if you take the six best players that won up this game at the moment, best medic, best 2 soldiers, best 2 scouts, best demo, win.
I think this got brought up last year with Epsilon because it was the season after LAN where
but like Epsilon were hotly contested by Broder all the way. Like Epsilon won every time.
I mean after LAN because Broder folded and Epsilon stayed, didn't they?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, well, it's just going to be a roll by Epsilon, and it was. It's sort of, yeah, it is the same here.
But do you not think that season would have been like 1,000,000 times better if Epsilon hadn't played?
Yeah.
And like you got like,
but the thing is,
I don't know what teams were. Your team with Byte, like crappy Willy Wonkas, was garbage. But like, if you had like both of those teams didn't really ship at the end. But if those 2 teams were first, they would have pushed themselves as hard as they could have gone.
We don't know how Epsilon and Epsilon last year. You knew how they were going to pretty much perform. They were still pretty much all main classing. I think the only person he swapped out was Raymond for Ox, wasn't it? And they had still Mike and Gear on Pocket. Yeah. They literally just lost a medic. Everything else is still pretty much the fucking same. Now, when TLR played against Epsilon last year, I'm pretty sure they came close to winning. Maybe.
When?
I think they took rounds because I remember Raymond dropped 3 times in 10 minutes in that game. Might not have been as. I think I'm just sort of thinking it was close just because Raymond dropped so many times. But like, we don't know how this team's going to perform. And the thing is that there are players out there that, you know, you never know. They might have the potential and they could be really good. But the thing is, you've got Zebo, who's an amazing soldier.
Doesn't want to play soldier.
Yeah,
Everyone
but
knows that.
That's not our fault, is it?
It's not your fault.
I know it's counterintuitive, but we
like,
can't break up just because these people don't want to.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should break up, but like you're talking about like I can't remember how we got onto this, but you were saying like preparing for the next Milan and all this stuff. Like it just kind of seems like it's going to achieve the opposite, starting so early. Like you're just going to kind of go through this season, like destroying everything. Everything is going to be fine, and then you're going to find yourself like a season later, and it's going to you won't really have anything. The potential competition you could have for next season will probably be slightly worse than it otherwise would have been. And I can't remember how we got onto this, so I'm kind of
I think it was because of
What's the way to avoid that?
Because I think when did Broder start when they were playing against Epsilon? Like
they started
last
this
LAN?
spring season.
So there's still and the thing is Epsilon were playing for a year. So yeah, I don't know. I get what you mean in terms of.
Before Broder started as BFF, which turned out to be a huge and colossal failure, but like turned out to be a huge and colossal failure because like personalities really, and like, internal like dramas that really wouldn't happen to a team that has no competition. Like if we were winning all the time, then that team would have been fine, probably stay together. But because they lost, they just ended up crumbling.
I know. I think I get your point, but yeah, I mean, splitting up the players for a more competitive season would make sense, but I don't know.
Like it's just like I don't know. My perspective is like I look at this team you guys have made, and it's going to be sick. Like under any like last season, it would have been a great addition, and like going into like an important era, like an important period in the TFT would be a great team. Like really interested to see how they do, but like normally makes who often has made these like, teams like I mean Somniac last season with the sole goal not really to win. Who makes the fucking season slightly. This season, if I play, I'm taking like the complete opposite approach, and I don't even consider winning. Like winning isn't any kind of goal of mine this season. If I play, it's purely just to make the season after potentially better than what it will be.
You're looking to build for the future.
Well, yeah, like not even for like my team, just like players that could be good, like and players basically. Like something like someone could make like a sec team this season. It would be like maybe slightly more interesting to watch, but at the end of the day, you're just going to recycle these same players, and then next season, best case scenario, you're just going to have these two teams playing each other again, maybe with slightly different rosters. I don't really know what I'm talking about. I kind of got lost somewhere along the way.
You do have a point somewhere in there, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm sort of doing this because I want to sort of maybe set a bar. I want to sort of entice people to sort of. I mean, when season 20 comes around, we don't know what it is yet, but we know it's going to be big. So that'd be like, is it? We normally start around about February.
Oh, sorry, January.
So there would still be your fucking time for people to sort of sort their shit out, and
yeah, that's what I mean. Like I'm excited for season 20.
I hope that there is going to be something ready for season 20. So they've got plenty.
Now you are lagging, by the way.
Oh yeah, everyone's lagging for me, but can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody knows that something big is going to happen at season 20, and because of the ideas that ETF2L and Sonny Black has been telling Ips, and Ips has been telling everyone. So there's no reason for people to sort of take a break and just not give a shit. That's why we are giving a shit, because if there is going to be more money and a cash injection to want to fucking win that money, if there's a big land next year, then brilliant. We can sort of maybe try and redeem hope of Europe, but there's no problem with us starting now if you just want to sort of just try and win, because everybody should have the same idea. They all know that something amazing is going to happen for season 20, so just get fucking started. Like
intrinsically, I don't think there is anything wrong with what you're doing, but I don't know, maybe I grasped the wrong end of what you were saying. Like I was at this fully charged on LAN, I wasn't really close enough to hear, but it sounded to me like you were, in a sense, complaining about the lack of competition in Europe. And to me, like for the time being, this team is just going to stifle competition more than anything else.
It wasn't competition. I think it was more a lack of motivation for people to sort of. I think my point at LAN was that during like last season during Christmas, it was just shit, and you just had people making teams at their last breath, trying to get something gathered up. And after that, this team's got slightly better. And then during spring, that's when everybody tries. And I think that's why I was saying that we were so far behind in compared to the Americans, because they have an entire year and various competitions going out through the year to make decent goal for people to go for. Yet we only have one thing per year for us to really try for. That was my point at LAN.
I feel like I'm struggling with the idea of like this. I don't think it would be right to like dilute this super team just so that everyone else can have a bit more fun or have an easier time of it. Like as soon as you start like lowering the bar or like trying to make it more competitive artificially, like is that not the road to decline? Like I want to see a team coming out here that is like really going to try hard. Like Ips is saying they're going to be studying the Fruitech style and stuff. But are they going to be just too good next season? Is that really what you're saying, or am I putting words in your mouth here?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, no, I wasn't. I wasn't saying like that they should like not be a team and not play together and not try hard and things like this. But for the rest of the scene, like, I don't think there's any point in pointing the finger saying, like, it's not good you guys are just having fun this season, or it's not good that you aren't trying as hard as you can to win, because I think for anyone being realistic, like, this season, they just don't, like, Zebo can write in chat that his off-class team is going to win, but no, you're not, buddy. Not a fucking chance. So like, hey, like, I get what you guys are doing, that's great for you, but the same idea doesn't work for other people, because they don't have the best roamer left in Europe, they don't have the best scout combo, the best medic and things like this to work with.
We were too fucking quick. Like, I think I remember at LAN when Ips talked to me, and it was like about 9 o'clock. I literally just ran around the entire fucking place trying to get the fucking people.
That's
and
what I mean. Like,
Rising was playing drinking games, and I pulled him aside. I was like, mate, do you want to make a team? It'll be sick.
And it's cool. Like, it's good that you guys are going to be sick for like next year, and for the rest of us left over, like, I don't know. For me, it's not worth my time to invest emotion and passion into trying to win, when ultimately I don't actually believe that I could do that. But I don't know. Like, for my team, it's not like we're going to goof off and not try to win. But I'll give you an example. Like, for this scout position I'm looking for, the best talent out there, I think, is Yangpai. And if I really was desperate to win, I would take Yangpai. But because I'd rather see like players improve and like prove themselves for a later season, I won't take Yangpai, because I don't think he's not the right guy for like a coherent team and like developing yourself as a player. Like, he's not going to help those around him to improve. If I was really desperate to win, he'd be great, because he's the most skillful scout, one of the most skillful scouts left out there. But he's just not for the mentality of the team that I would try to make. Because even if I'd take him, I don't think we would still win. We would just come a bit closer.
You're trying to make a farm team this season. You want to nurture some talent, and these guys are coming in trying to win everything.
Well, yeah, kind of. But it's like, I don't know. I learned a lot in the last season. Like, in the past, I made a lot of weird sacrifices in teams just to try and get the best like collective group of talent together, and it didn't really work out. Like, Osomnia didn't turn out to be the greatest team of all time, but bar a few times when people got mad at each other, like, what we had 6 guys, all with good English, all with a good attitude, all like reliable and showing up and wanting to like improve and things like this. The one that participated in that, for the most part, like, benefited from that much more than they would have if we, like, I don't know, say like when we picked up Zappis, if we'd got someone who was slightly better than Zappis but didn't share the same kind of idea about the game as us, it would have gone a lot worse. So I don't know. I just think for those of us left playing who aren't in this super team, as you want to call it, I think there's more valuable things we can do with this season than chase second place. That's the point I'm making.
But like, I just really want to see people try, because we're still going to be casting the games and trying to hype up the season as much as
But like, no one's not going to try though. Like,
people
Zebo's
sandbagging, or not even like.
But everyone's trying. Like, Zebo's still fucking adamant in chat that he's going to win. That's what I mean. Like, I don't think it's going to happen. But these teams, like my team, will still try to win. Like, we'll
But you're
try
going
to
in
win
like
every
you're already
game.
defeated.
No. Don't get
You're
me
being
wrong.
overly
Like,
realistic. You're like, oh, we definitely can't compete with these guys.
well, like, what difference does it make if I sit here and say we're going to win, or I say we're not going to win? Like, it's not even a fucking team yet, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. But whatever I say now, it doesn't make a difference. Like, we'll still go into every game trying to do our best, and that's all you can do at the end of the day. It doesn't really matter if I'm saying now that I don't expect to win.
Sure. I understand, actually. Let's go back to the land discussion, though. That was a rich vein to be tapped. I mean, I really think that this Lithuanian land can be good. Like, talking to Hui, I know he's close to finalizing a sponsor for the LAN as well. And it's a turn up and play event. Like, we've already mentioned how cheap it is to go to Lithuania, but like, what will it take for people to take this land seriously? We've been crying about how we don't have lands like they do in America or whatever, but is this sort of community organized event, is this not taking the interest of you leadership figureheads? Like, you guys are all making teams for next season. Will you take your team to LAN? It's so cheap, why wouldn't you do it?
What happened to this French land? There was this one French land I remember where
Gamers Assembly
went to and stuff. Yeah.
Gamers
Is it Game Assembly?
It's at Easter.
Okay. Yeah, that was, like, from what I've heard,
I think someone
Right.
wrote earlier in chat that GA won't support TF2 anymore anyway.
Hmm.
Like this
The
Lithuania
reason
land,
we.
I
Sorry.
was going to say this Lithuania land could have been like the idea of like pragmatically, it would be a pretty good place to have like a second LAN, but like October isn't really a great time for it because everyone's just kind of come out too, and like you say, everyone's kind of burnt, like they're making these weird teams and things like this. But like in terms of like finances and stuff, it would be like a good place to try and set up like an alternate LAN. But in terms of spacing, like October's not really the right time for it.
Well, like the Yanks have just come to I-52. They're going to GXL in October or whatever. They're going to have an ESEA LAN some point there as well.
GXL is like what, a plus $2,000 prize pool. ESEA is isn't it like a $5,000 prize pool? You know, that's why they're fucking going to
There
it.
was also like
Yeah.
GXL thrown out last week. Oh, by the way, there's a cheapest chips land coming up in October. Come here and get pissed for a
That's
weekend.
like
I
we
ain't gonna
talked.
go at all.
Yeah, we talked about this in the team last time we played. If we can go to this Lithuanian land or not, and we can't go. Like I can't go. It's way too short. This notice, like 2 months, is not enough to plan this, and War can't go either. So that's basically it for us already.
That'll
Like
make it
if this
competitive.
exact LAN happened, like I don't know, November, December, January, maybe not January because of Christmas, but like November, say late November. I don't even know when. But like if you planned it in advance and like gave everyone the notice they needed, like have it at the end of a season or something like this, so it falls in like a better time frame. Like like with the money it costs teams to get there, or lack of money it costs, it could quite easily. Like it's really easy, I think, to have like an alternate LAN where teams go. But I
Like
don't know.
it's definitely happening, but it's only going to be as good as we make it. I'm just trying to encourage people to
Sure, encourage people to advertise it.
go
Hey,
there and
look, like I'm
take it
probably gonna go.
seriously.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm probably gonna go. I'm not gonna like whatever. If I end up making a team for this season, I'm not gonna try and make all of them go because it's just not like the right time.
All right, there's also OG LAN, of course, the online gamer SE LAN. That's going to be happening towards the end of November, I think. I'm not sure. This was like just talking to everybody at LAN. I was sort of had a bee in my bonnet about what we can do to get more LANs, whatever, having listened to Walt crying his heart out on stage about the dire state of the EU scene. OG LAN could be something we could get behind, perhaps.
Isn't OG require? Isn't it BYOC? I could be wrong on that one, but like that's what the great thing about Lithuania LAN. You don't have to take your own computer. Main thing that's just been a problem for tier 2 LANs. You need turn up and play really, or you need it to be as big as I-52, so people are willing to throw hundreds of pounds at PCs for a weekend. But like, yeah,
I could see myself going to OG LAN.
I'd like to go to OG LAN.
I like the Swedes.
Yeah, like these LANs are good fun, but it's not really. I don't think OG would ever be the right setting for trying to have a serious competition.
But it's like we can't be sitting around waiting for this magic bullet to come along that some idiot organization is going to throw loads of money at organizing TF2 events. It's just like we have to do it ourselves. And we don't even need that,
because if ETF2L's like ideas that they've to generate more money for the prize pool goes ahead, that would just be fine. That would just replace the LAN, because that is people's motivation to actually sort of.
I had an idea about that. Or like I don't know the full details of season 20, but I've been talking a lot to Campo recently, and I was suggesting to him just inquiring, like at the TT offices, for example, wherever he works in Germany, like do they have 12 computers? Could we have like our own LAN finals? He says like probably not there, but like instead of using this money for ETFTL season 20 as a prize pool, why not use it to finance a LAN final, like top 4 or 3, whatever it is? Go and play ACA style. Why not use that money? But like, does anybody really benefit from?
No, but like how far is that money going to go though? Because with ESEA, it's like on top of the LAN being provided for, they can front you the money to go. Like that's the main thing. Like
yeah, the teams are probably not gonna. You're probably still gonna be at a loss. Like, but the prize money could cover part of your expenses. Would you rather just have the money, or would you rather go and compete at LAN finals?
Well, yeah, obviously
maybe break even.
Well, yeah, I'd much rather just go and play. Like, I've never given a shit about the money in this game. Like, I mean, like you say, like ESEA. The thing about ESEA is they don't need to use the money to provide a facility. Like, they don't need to subsidize to give you a facility and machines to play a LAN at. They offer this 10k prize pot as well as having these facilities ready. So for these teams, like for fourth place, everyone gets the fourth place cut of the money before they go to ensure they can get there. I don't think ETF World could ever really offer that. So you always run this risk of, like, they could use this money to give you facilities and stuff, but then you don't have teams there because these teams are like kids who don't have any money. Like, I don't know.
Then I suppose we're depending on the community again to fundraise.
Yeah, and that's the
People
thing as
have
well.
their
When it
begging
becomes every season, it then starts to take its toll. But like, again, this is the thing about Lithuania. I really like regret that it's in October because it is so goddamn cheap. Like, I'm considered going. I don't have hardly any money to work with, but other than the flight, which is like £60, you're looking at spending absolutely bugger all.
Yeah.
But like, it's in October, which just isn't really a great time. Like, I don't know. There's like another one in April, so like a Lithuania in April, the same place, same flight costs, but there's more time.
I have a question as well. If we talk about lands, we need more lands. Is that lands in addition to the I-Series or instead maybe? Because I have to say that. Okay. Because
I don't know as well.
It's very to add up money to go to lands throughout the year that like you pay for the I-Series, and that would be a lot of money just to travel around and not get much in return. Basically, we make like that's just in our mind, obviously, or like in our heads. We make that Lithuanian LAN in November, and people come, and it's all cool. And we make, what was it, OG LAN? OG in January,
December.
or in December, or something in January, and then something in spring, and we make the I-Series happen for TF2 again. Then that's like, for people that are not living always exactly where this LAN is happening, then that's pretty hefty when it comes to what you have to invest in money. And I've talked to this to Jason before, like, it's just very expensive to get to the I-Series and to get to England already.
Yeah, I think we, in some ways, we get a bum deal from multiplayer and I-Series that is overpriced. And I think the reality of hosting a LAN, maybe not a community LAN where like anyone can come, but people want to see the best teams compete offline. Like, I think it is definitely feasible. Like, all you really need is a room and computers.
It's not really feasible. That's the problem. Like, I've been to dinners a couple of times. Cantor is living in the same city that I live in, and he works here for TT. And we've been talking about making LANs with Sonny Black for ages, like for 2 years, and it's not feasible. Like, you need a lot of money before. Like, you have to do that. You have to cover that expense on your own as a private person. As Canfo, as Sonny, as Admirable, then you maybe have to fundraise to make it happen at all. Like, you have to get the community involved and whatever. And it's just not for a corporation, but for single people, like for admins, for the 3 admins of ETF12 and their private money to do that, it's just too much of a risk. Understand that if they come up with like I thought the amount ever they could get to was like 15k that they need to get in advance to make sure that they can get like 300 people to play TF2, like a big hall. You need to get the electricity, the fucking, what's it called, insurances and stuff like this. So much that you don't even think about in the first place. You know, like, you can't have an event, someone like falls off a ladder and dies, and then you have to pay for the rest of your life because you didn't like set it up perfectly and stuff like this. Do you get my point?
We have it in the lawless land of Lithuania.
Yeah, we just do it in the
West. It could easily work in Lithuania, to be honest, but it's too soon for people to sort of actually go there. If there's going to be one next year, I think it would be a lot better, and it should be one that people are trying to focus more towards, because I think Huey's doing a good job in actually organising it himself as it is anyway. What we did at IE52 should be a good advertisement and representation of what we can do as a community with like 0 fucking funding as well, apart from, well, we funded the teams coming. Everything else was people putting money out from their own pockets, was people using their own equipment and all that shit. So if we're able to sort of create what is, if I'm honest, a really fucking good LAN. Funds, more prize pool, higher quality place, or just sort of putting the fucking money down and just going, I trust you guys to do well with my money, trade something for me, and then, you know, it can be fine. It might be a fucking long journey, but I think you never know. If there's going to be one next year, teams that are starting up and maybe the extra incentive from the new ETF2L season, we could start getting some decent teams going, decent competition, and maybe people will then be keen on going to sort of Lithuania with proper teams. Like it, because then, you know, it sort of helps teams to sort of reach out to organizations for extra money. We sort of look professional as a whole, as an esport. And then when I-55 comes around and we crush the after, we'll be seeing the Americans at the Lithuania lands.
It's true what you just said. Someone recently asked on the forums if there's any orcs around covering TF2, and like Xar, I think he's called, right? A Finnish guy.
Yeah.
Made like a witty remark about TF2, like or organizations not spending money on TF2, which is perfectly reasonable. There's no incentive for organizations to really sponsor TF2 teams other than give them service if there's not a LAN around, because like ETF12 doesn't really give them any brand exposure. You're like, the streams that we have, you always preach to the choir. There's like maybe 400, 500 new people on the stream, if even, that are watching TF2 and get to know your brand. So there's no point, but if you have more LANs, you can get these brands or organization more interested in your game as well, because there's just more buzz around it, and like you can actually have something you can advertise, because that's the problem with ETF12. Like you can't do anything. There's like just season after season, and you know, there's no story. Like there's nothing you can create a lot of hype around other than new teams, or like a lot of bad teams all of a sudden.
Let's not forget as well,
TF2
used to have those lands in between the summer I-Series, which were the other I-Series, but those got dropped. And back then we used to have quite a few more sponsors in the game as well, you know, like Dignitas, TCM were always a big showing, Infuse as well. Don't have that sort of luxury. We need to build up that luxury again, I think. But people are sort of...
We do that by attending LANs and showing support, taking seriously, making an exhibition of our game so that people can see that TF2
I'm sure.
Still alive.
When like, do you want a split of our £250 prize? You're gonna lap up the opportunity. But
but like Ibs is saying, there's more to it than that. It's like a branding exercise.
There is more to it. You've done a good job of getting our brand out over the I-52 LAN. Just need to work on next year. I think this year, with the team, with the state that sort of TF2 is, it's going to be in a bit of a fucking lull until next year, and then hopefully people are going to start having the motivation to sort of try form those teams that we need. And I think
because that worked so well for us this time, didn't it?
Do you know what we actually need?
We
actually need? We don't need prize pool for teams. That's I think that's not what we need. I think we need to have a donation incentive for ETF12, not for the prize pools for teams in the first place, like for a year, but we need an incentive for people to give money to ETF12 so they can hire people. Like for me, the most annoying thing for the last 3 years I've been around and close to ETF12 administration is that people just don't have an incentive to really care full time about what's going on. Like you never have a team of like trained people that do PR that really can full-time contact sponsors or whatever, or have like a bit of a money incentive to do what they do. And that's, I think, for me, even more important. You lose the people in the community that have thrive duties outside of even getting close to the limelight, like Ken for Sonny, Perm, like the people that did it before. They're not really get any of the attention that any high tier players get, even though I think they're like one of the most important parts of the community. Because if these guys fuck off and then nobody of us that just plays this game wants to do it, then it's going to be even worse, and we're going to sit here and cry again and again. So if you have like an actual staff of people that are getting paid to do stuff and that are contacting people for a certain amount of time, I think it's just going to increase the quality of the whole product, and therefore, yeah, you can just get prize pool by having people that care about that sort of thing. We never really had that, right? The PR team back in the days was a big fail. Obviously,
Night money,
I was a part in that thing, but yeah, I mean, it didn't really. So you need to pay these people. You need to make you can't have people not doing anything in ETF 12 because they can always say it's just a voluntary work. You have to make contracts. Say like this month you have to contact these 200 orgs and ask them for money. Ask them if they want to sponsor us, do this and that, and you take it from there. For me, this all that we are talking about now is just like we're just like in a treadmill. We're trying for the sake of it to like fundraise some land so people keep playing the game, but people I think will not keep playing the game if the league sucks. And that's
There's
essentially
a lot,
I mean
that
they
at the minute though.
Huh?
Like there's been
Yeah,
a lot
but
of like there was a lull for a long time. Now there's the site coming out soon, and there's like that. Seen the Amazon.
Okay, but that's exactly what I've been
reseller
talking
thing,
about.
blah,
The
blah, blah.
site now coming out after 2 years is exactly what I've been talking about. It's like the quality of the ETF2 product sucks. It literally blows donkey dick because they were talking about doing the site 2 years ago. And they were working with sponsors, like they promised sponsors that the site would be done, the awareness would be done. All this hasn't been done because they can't pay people to do it. That's it. That's the bottom line. That's the problem. Like for me, it's the problem that
There's no money in the game.
That we have our league is just weak when it comes to that, and that's not their fault. Like that's not Perm's fault, Sonny's fault, Spike's themselves' fault, and whatever they all were called in the past. Ratio, they did what they could and what they felt like doing because they don't really make anything out of it. I know there was like an admin of the month award or season award. You remember that, Jason?
Yep.
But they cancelled that pretty quickly, so.
The thing is
I won it
that
too many
what
times.
we've achieved with TF2 is fucking ridiculous in itself anyway. I don't know of any other website that's community run like this that's done for a shitty game. It's literally just got everything pinned on it. Any other game has like a league like this, but what people have done in time is just retarded. Like Gentleman John shit. Zoob stats things as well. Like the amount of effort with the whole spectrals, like things like Dota and Counter-Strike, they just get this stuff added to the game, but these are what people are putting their own time and effort into because I like it. And I think there's only so far that, you know, your own love for the game can get you before you sort of things sort of take over in the rest of your life. So I think maybe into ETF2 World to sort of incentivize people to actually work for it is probably a good idea. But I don't know if it's too late.
It's never too late.
I don't even want to pay the people that are around now because I know they have no fucking idea. Like the only one.
Let's make our own league.
The only one with a vision is Sonny, but he's vision, but he's socially awkward and autistic, so he can't talk to people. Then there's Perm and Canfo, and Canfo is like the puppet master who isn't really involved anymore, but still is hugely involved or heavily involved. So, is there someone out there who's like a PR mastermind? He should just
need
step up.
D2M back.
Oh yeah.
Well, I know Gentleman John is still working with the ETFTL. As it's looking at ways to create revenue or whatever. Anybody want to go ahead and leak any details about season 20? All I know is
Yeah, what is this
there's
bullshit?
going
We're
to
like
be
talking about
a
this.
bigger prize pot, but
Mate,
nobody's
don't
actually
you know
given
about
any
season
specifics.
20? It like literally doesn't need to be discussed because I'm pretty sure everybody knows about it.
It's
Anybody
really awkward
care?
because like everyone knows something, like the information's out there, but we just kind of
There's
tiptoe
gonna
around
be
it.
the possibility. I don't know if they make perks, but that would be the reasonable thing to do. And they give people the
You can donate.
possibility to donate to ETF12 prize pool by incentivize some perks. If there's no
Such
perks,
as?
I don't see people. Yeah, I don't have any idea. I think the last time I've talking to people that had this idea, there were no perks, but for me it makes no sense to do it without perks because people are gonna be like, dude, I'm not gonna fucking donate a prize pool for war, that little idiot. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a good idea. This idea has been around for ages. It's good that people try it and people take a bit of a risk, see how the community reacts to it. I don't know how they want to do it. If they want to do like separate prize pools for like different divisions, because that I think as well is a
Why don't
big
they just
incentive
jump in
to.
here and say what we're all
Yeah.
thinking? Pay to play, like ESEA, maybe even just in the Premiership.
I'd welcome that because it may hopefully ask teams to sort of stick around a bit. Although that's not really a problem anymore. I don't think we see many teams folding mid-season as we used to. Because if I recall, there'd be quite a few seasons where there may be half teams that would fold in Division 1. I checked what happened last season, so I didn't really say that. Looking first.
It's not just a community-funded prize. I think Hillary said it is like in addition to what they make with ad revenue, and at the moment the money they make with ad revenue is pretty neat. So it's going to be more prize pool in the next season.
Yeah, everybody turn off ads on ETF 12, and if you don't, click them every day.
Yeah, I mean that would literally help already. If you don't have ad block on, that would help the league so much. But yeah,
if they're gonna do this, I don't know. I've harped on about this a million times before, but if they are gonna do this, like I think they should offer prizes to more divisions.
Yeah.
But if they did that, they should really get rid of this god-awful division system we have at the moment. Like, I don't want to bring us all back to this ECA discussion, but the ECA league system, the structure of IM and Owen is just worlds ahead of what we have in ETF 12. Like, having like all of these open teams, like however many are there in a season, just say 50, having them all playing each other for one prize pot means you can actually offer to us Div 4 players, you can offer Div 4 players like decent money because it is 50 teams worth of Div 4 players competing for it in a completely fair and interesting way. If you wanted to offer divisions in ET well any money, 50 fucking euros per division because we have 3,000 divisions. Yeah. Even like cutting away A, B, C, D, E, Div 6, A, B, C, D, blah, all that shit. Divisions 1 through 6 is just a pointless one. When you like actually look at it and realize the difference between division, there is no difference between these divisions. It all just blurs into one at one point or another. So if you just split like Div 1 through 6 into like 2 or 3 at most, like skill gap, and offered these like groups on their own a prize pool, like at least if you have this like way of offering a prize that we're discussing, it's better than like having 7 divisions, each with like 10 iterations.
It gives also like more people something to fight for, and it's also more consistent because it's just a fucking joke how like when I played in Div 2, like a team could be absolutely trashed mid-season, they submit screenshots for next season, and then that's it. They've jumped up a div and just get rolled in the div above. Like if everybody's in sort of like the same pot, you don't have those shitty lol div posts every fucking season. Worry about invite. An intermediate season as well. There's an IM one, isn't there? Yeah. So yeah, I think it's just a lot better. It has better competition as well. And yeah, I prefer as much as I hated ESEA, just mainly because of the anti-cheat. Everything else was a lot tidier in general.
Another news, CX here, hooray! Well, not here, but he's home.
Just
in time.
Let me take a look.
I really agree to what Kaidus just said. It would make, and yeah,
How
really give people. It is more realistic than them not doing it. Like it increases the chances of it working by a mile instead of not doing it. I don't even see it. Well. I don't even see it working if they don't do that. Because yeah, it's like they will not give people an incentive to donate and to play, and people just will not do it. I wouldn't do it if I'm in Div 4. I would not pay up like prize pools for people, and then it's not realistic that I'm gonna even get close to them.
I think there's so many other problems as well. Like you don't have these dribblers that like, I will only play in a Div 1 team, even though only 8 times 6 people can play in Div 1. 31 teams. So all these people that just kind of just get shunted, like that are good enough to play at that level, but they get shunted down a division, or there's just no fucking space, arbitrary limit that some guy imposed. Long ago, 5 years ago, I don't even know.
It could be possible. Like if the ETFTL, I understand EMB is full time, or like he's not admin anymore. He's just focusing on development. You've got Cherry for the front end as well. Things are happening at ETFTL. Somebody should make a well thought out post about this sort of thing.
Well, they should just listen to us from time to time.
Well, I mean, like put it down in some
Oh
sort
yeah, actually write it down as a
structure.
concept.
Yeah, on the agenda as well. And or I had a message from Sonny actually today. He was asking me my thought on the ambassador and the direct hit.
Yeah,
So I
the
guess I'm
direct hit.
thinking of adding some new unlocks for season 19.
That's what they care about right now.
But just the weekend before, or the Sunday of the first week, I'm planning to run a TFTV invitational for whichever age.
Oh, I
And
heard
we'll
about
do
this.
a 1 day cup, so I want to put that out there.
War's not
TT,
around.
What?
TT might be sponsoring it. I understand Zoe are also interested in running another invitational.
Oh, that would be sick.
But either way, I think that's definitely going to happen. So get hyped for that. That will be a little bit of a preview.
Wait,
And if you are in the top 8 team, mark that down in your diary.
That's this weekend, right?
No. It's September the 21st.
No. Well, someone messaged me. Stark messaged me that Rising told him that this Sunday is like some sort of invitational, and that
Oh, today?
War is not around. Yeah, he messaged me today.
Nah, there was a
I
main
did
call cup was
I've
on
no
today.
idea.
Oh, is this about the invitational thing?
Yeah, on Sunday or something.
Yeah, I can't play Sunday afternoons.
Yeah, but there is nothing on Sunday.
I wasn't listening, so I literally had to sleeping cat on me.
Okay, first of all, it worries me that Stark has to message me about when our team is playing. Second of all, what's actually going down? When are these invitational things happening?
Well, it's not officially announced yet, but I remember at the start of season 17 there was a 1 day cup with all the teams in the Prem.
Okay.
So it'll be the same idea. One
Can
Sunday.
we schedule it around my work?
Can you not just book work off now?
Well, if it happens next week, next Sunday, I can play.
Well, there's no
if we
point
can
in
make it
like there aren't
next
actually going to
Sunday.
be the teams aren't going to be known until like after the provisional divisions are announced.
Why not just do it next Sunday anyway? Just fucking, we're
Shut
gonna
the
win
fuck up.
regardless, aren't we? So
Oh my god. I'm still
No.
gonna throw just to
this is
make
where
you sound like
when
an
we
idiot.
fucking lose against Sebo's team.
Yeah, already.
Yeah,
And he's gonna be sitting there with his smug smile.
with this brand new Zowie FK.
So yeah, remember about that. That will be happening. The top 8 teams will be invited, or whoever.
Yeah, I
can't
already
make it.
confirmed that Stark is gonna play demo for us if War's not around.
Do I still get the prize?
No.
Fuck you.
I had Ash from ETFTL messaging me as well, asking me or confirming the date of the cup. So I think ETFTL might be working on something, maybe a cup of their own at some point. Also, there was a cup tonight. The main call TF, this new casting organization.
They have sick t-shirts.
I like them. I like what they're doing. And
They've got a great vision, a great brand there.
yeah, it's really, really good. I was very, very impressed when I tuned in. The casting, not brilliant, but obviously that's going to be expected when it's the first one. But they've got a lot of potential, and I like their brand. It's very well done. And yeah, they're going to save Europe.
Yeah, you can check out their website, maincall.tf. I'll put that in chat right now. But yeah, it's really interesting, something to watch out for. What else is there? A while since we've done a full charge. Saloon.tf is in a closed beta right now, I think. Or is it public open yet? You can get your invites there by contacting Cherry, I guess. I tweeted him and he sent me a key.
I've got beta keys. I've got a list of them which I'm going to give out on my stream, which you can find at www.twitch.tv/WARHURYEAH.
It's gonna be a sick season of getting DDoSed.
When is that going to come? Does anyone know like how close it is to coming out of beta?
From what I looked at it, it's pretty good. I think it's just sort of it's not still. Oh fuck! I've just used one of my own beta keys. Yeah.
Wow.
Bit used next to that one.
There's also a couple of matchmaking sites out there. There's a scrim.me, scrim.tf as well. If people are starting to play now, it'd be good to support these sites. New services being offered there. Of course, there's still TF2 Center, TF2 Pickup. I was talking to the TF2 Center guys at LAN. Apparently, they're working on skill-based lobbies, sort of something akin to Pick Up You, I guess. So
Yeah, I heard that, but yeah, it depends if it works. If they can do it, so if they set it into divisions, that'd be actually really fucking good.
Don't say like pick up 2.
But
well,
I don't think it'll be like pick up 2. Is that someone makes a lobby, they select the skill of the players, and then people that are in their respective divisions will be able to add up to that pickup. That's what I'd imagine it to be, and if it that'd be really fucking good, because pickup 2 is pretty much dead. I think one of the reasons why is because it's still on fucking IRC, and let's be honest, it's got like a timer on it. I don't want to be one of those communities where it's like quick CPMA, where people are sitting on IRC waiting for it to start for about 3 days. If we can get it over to web-based on TF2 Pickup or TF2 Center, that would be really good.
Why doesn't Pickup.net just add like an invite one for like TF2 Plus and just like cross-check with ETF2L? It seems it would be so easy to do.
I don't know why they don't do that, because that would be really good if we did have that.
Because I mean, I still enjoy like IRC. Like I kind of prefer IRC pickups to Pickup.net. Yeah.
In some of the previews of the new ETFTL site, there is like a widget where it's like on the main ETFTL page, you'll be able to join TF2Pickup.net game.
Yeah, but that's just joining any TF2 Pickup game. What I mean is like one where it's by a division. So like an invite, so like TF2, like Pickup 2, but in TF2 Pickup, that's done via your ETF2L profile
Sure.
division
that you're in.
Still prefer IRC pickups for myself. Like with Pickup 2, it's so retarded. Like for like someone to get in there, they have to message an admin, and the admin has to check like ETF2L history and has to like invite them and set their score, and it's just
or
it's
be a girl and no bite.
Well, yeah, but it's just such a ball ache. Like I prefer IRC just because you have like everyone idling there. Well, at least when it's active, you have everyone idling there, and it's like between games there's like chat and this kind of shit, and it can be quite funny and stuff like this. But really, it's like so past its time. And it's, for something that should be so simple, like, all the interfaces there for Pickup.net, they just need to do that coding mumbo jumbo and just check division. Like, because they already have like multiple pickups there. Tab the invite pickup and have it check divisions before you add.
I think F2 was in the Twitch chat earlier, so maybe he's the man to talk to. I don't know. What else have I got written down here?
Someone would make me really happy if there would be like a point on Nox TF for damage taken, heals received. That puts it down in some sort of value.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a while.
Yeah,
I would also like to see like some stuff on logs while we're on the topic, like some stuff on logs that shows what happens in and out of Ubers, like damage done in Ubers and things like this.
I'd like a column which will say it will be war damage, how much damage someone done that had no effect on the game whatsoever.
I think Zub is actually working on an update to logs.tf. I don't know when that's going to be coming out or whatever, but there are new features coming out.
Isn't that to do with like the files and stuff though?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was more to do with that side of things.
It's to see what someone's stats are in a respective game on their profile, so you don't have to click into the log every time to get like a preview when you hover over it. But who knows, there might be more stuff.
Yeah, just looking at this list. Sorry,
Sonny,
I'm not very sharp today.
You don't have CX and Shed. Do you want to talk to Sonny really quick?
What about?
About things with ETF2L and what we've been talking about with the divisions and stuff. See what he thinks.
Sure, bring him in. I should.
I mean, it's only
mention
2
as
hours
well.
long. This is so. Let's,
Well, yeah,
let's
it
keep
doesn't-
it for a
it
third.
doesn't- It doesn't matter by now.
The death
Yeah,
of Vanilla.
Who cares?
Rip.
They should
Vanilla
have.
have.
If I'm
finally-
honest, they did the part that sort of fucked up Vanilla for me was when it sort of became less of anyone can contribute to their articles. Sort of put some. I know some are pretty shit, but
Still
they
waiting for
still
yours
had
to be
some pretty.
published from.
My one
Christmas.
from fucking April, like 2012, that they still haven't published. Even though I've asked them to do it, like within the past 6 months. Yeah, I think they had a few shitty admins on there, which just sort of made the place unbearable to be. Like you could never say anything bad about their casters, and the whole place just sort of. I think it was Trell. I think his name is.
Yep.
Like you know when you've just fucking went
Flash's
onto
grandma.
there, yeah, and you sort of just sort of you said something negative about the caster. Like it's not sort of flaming. It was just negative or constructive. It's like when I cast and people say, "Wow, War's got the most boring voice of all time." It's like I don't fucking ban them from chat. Sort of response that you get from vanilla TF2, and then once that kicked in, unless you're a part of their shitty circle jerk, it was just you just couldn't get in. That was it. It just.
I was like part of Vanilla TV in some form. I was like, at least I was on the ISC channels for some god knows reason, and it was like the most awful circle jerk I've ever seen. It was so
Sonny's
like
here.
messed up.
Can you get him in?
He's now like a pretty well established for TFTV. Like he did a lot at LAN and things like this because of like personal fucking issues between him and Pledge or Bait or someone. Like for ages, the longest time, he like couldn't get a look in at VTV just because of like personal reasons.
That wasn't really the angle I was going for with this. I was hoping everybody would
Yeah,
be,
so
you know, like,
basically, I don't think
Vanilla
many
was great.
people are really gonna miss it
Please
that
stop bashing
much.
Vanilla.
Hello?
Like it did some good parts for the community. I would
Vanilla
admit.
TF2 was good. Like
There's
the
no
actual
real-
website.
Is there a demand for written content anymore? Like, do people still want to read articles?
I think there is, but it's like you have to find the balance. Like it can't be forced. Like these weekly articles, they never work. No one can ever be asked to do them because they just become repetitive after
I
a while.
heard there is a really good blog that you can
Oh, yeah.
go to, which is WARHURYEAH.com, which will be making a return.
So, Sonny's there, let's go. Hello, Sonny.
John says in Mumble, it's now Blackout TV's time. Hello, Sonny. Come here and tell us about the glorious future of ETF2L.
What feature? I haven't.
Future.
Oh, future.
Tell us your grand vision.
So we've been so far to mysterious channels. We found out that ETF2L is gonna have the possibility to donate for the prize pool for next season, right? That might
Donate?
happen.
Season 20.
Season
Yes.
20. To donate for the prize pool. Yeah.
It's all a big
Oh, you
lie.
mean
We've been
like
talking shit for the
everyone?
last hour.
Confirm or
What did-
deny? Confirm or deny, Sonny Black?
There will be something. Like I don't want
Excellent.
to
Got it.
mention too many
Choose a lie.
details.
Spit it out, man.
There'll be something in a future season
We
of
will
TF2.
definitely try to raise the prize pool for season 20, and that's through a special event, I guess. And I also talked to someone else who might provide money.
He's so fucking cryptic.
Just say something, man. You know.
I also may or may not exhaled air in the company of another person.
I don't want to
I knew this was a
leak
bad idea.
everything.
Somebody remove Sonny Black, mum.
Okay, but like, is there going to be the possibility to donate for different tiers of ETF12 for prize pools, or like
Different
for a big prize pool that you guys then maybe split into different divisions?
We were saying something about, you know, having it like invite, where instead of having all this shitty tier divisions that have invite, whatever the one below that is, and then whatever the one below that is. So then people, if they are contributing to the prize pool in the future, they might actually be able to get a slice of that money that they're contributing instead of just having a shitty portion for Div Z.
If we're reaching a decent amount, obviously we go to the other divisions as well. Like right now, for the past 2 seasons, we had €100 for Division 1.
I think
But what we wanted to talk about was Kaidus' idea of, or Kaidus' point was that how it makes sense for ETF12 to still be running 6 divisions that are split into several groups instead of doing it like in ESEA, where you that 50 intermediate teams, or that's just a made up number, I don't actually know the numbers of ESEA, are fighting for one prize pool, which gives them, like, that skill tier basically a bigger incentive of actually donating, or making up their own prize pool. Kaidus, can you say it again? So I actually bring your point across.
In ESEA, you have only, at the moment, in the past there's been 4, but at the moment there is only 3 skill tiers in ESEA. You have Invite, which is exact premise, and then you have Intermediate and Open, which comprise of, give or take, say, 30 teams in IM and 50 teams in Open. Whereas in ETF2L, you have there's just a lot of 8 teams. So for a prize pool to any particular division, you can only offer it, you have to offer for thousands of, hundreds of divisions, a lot of different divisions. You have to offer these minute prize pools. Whereas in ESEA, you have 50 teams that could all compete for the same amount of money. So even if it's not that much money, it's all going to the same place. Whereas that's not really possible in ESEA at the moment. Was the point I made before.
the whole division thing is really quite artificial anyway. I'm mentoring a guy at the minute, and he's like, what
dear.
division do you think I'm in? Am I Div 4, Div 5, Div 6? But I don't see any difference between Div 6 to Div 4 or Div 3. It's all much the
Div
same.
6 is usually only really new people. There's 90% new teams.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. There aren't 7 different skill categories in TF2. You're either good, aka Prem, you're okay, Div 1 through Div 3, you're a scrub, Div 4, Div 5, or you've never touched the game before, Div 6. There's at most 4. If you really want to get down to it, there's not 7. And 4 is even pushing it, because you don't really need to offer prizes to people that have never played the game, so really you're looking at about 3 that really prizing. You know what I mean?
Consider it, Sonny.
Yeah, I also knew what you mean when you said that you mean the ESEA system. I used to be in ESEA.
That's right. Oh,
well, Ips, you seemed pretty confused when Ips gave the outline.
Because I'm fucking an idiot. I don't know.
do you think
For me, it's
ETFL
just
would be open to that sort of change? Are they prepared to make radical shifts? Are you prepared to change things up, Sonny Black?
It's hard to tell. I'm not even sure if the site would support that, because usually it's the teams, you will never play each team in your division. You will always play the teams with the same record you have or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's an algorithm though. Well, yeah, it's the first half of the season, the fixtures for CSCA, they're generated in 2 batches. The first half of the season is just generated, and then once you have these skill, you have some records, you then match based on skill. I don't know exactly how it works, but I don't know how the ETFL backend works, but I don't know. For me, we've kind of been in a situation where for about 3 years now, people have been making pretty good suggestions to ETF2L for ways that the league could be improved. And 99% of the time, you hear, I don't know if the site could support it. And I kind of made this the other day when we were talking about Australia, entire community options out of a form. It kind of seems odd to me. Obviously, I'm a bit of a hypocrite and do anything, but it seems to me that this much time later, we're still being limited by a web platform and what we can do with our community. At least in the very basic way you play matches and stuff is limited by WordPress or whatever it is.
But we're spoiled by ETFL. It's free and it's good enough
Easy,
to keep
but
people
it's pretty
playing.
shit at the end of the day if you're really going to be honest.
I don't think we're asking for require a volunteer's time.
Oh yeah.
If you want something
how about
changed, do it
instead of
yourself.
donating for fucking prizes the first season, donate to give fucking ETFL someone to code a league system that doesn't suck balls?
Yeah, that's what I said.
I would donate for that.
What we would need is ESEA to come over to
Kickstart a new
ETF2
league.
again.
I'm
Why
not
would-
sure if that will happen.
So you're not going to give us any juicy gossip about season 20 then, Sonny Black?
I
Feed the rumor mill?
I heard that you figured out quite a bit already on your own.
You were
Which
telling me
may
all
or
that stuff
may,
at LAN,
which
mate?
may or may not be true. Yeah, you told me that at LAN
Sonny
as well.
Black confirmed leak.
When you were picking my address for the headset that I won.
Yeah, it was spreading, it was feeding everyone only bits of the season 20 plan.
And then we just made the
You were
puzzle
testing us.
ourselves.
Okay, I want to say as well that there's a fundraiser going on right now to send Aaron, the XTV sound guy, to GXL to help with the production. I will paste the link into the Twitch chat, but what's on GXL? Are you interested to attend? Or will you just
Interested
be
to
watching online?
see Coleman enter the venue.
Yeah. I wish I could go. And I really wanted to go, but I couldn't get time off work. So I can't go, which is a shame because it looks really good. And hopefully maybe we can go next year.
Just thinking, like, does it not make more sense for us to have the TF2 World Championships in America?
No.
Would that not be like easier to? It's in the middle between Australia and Europe.
It also makes sense because, like, if you look at the teams that played at I-49, I-52, sorry, there was no one missing,
talent.
was there? There was no big team missing that could have been the
Phoenix.
Phoenix, maybe, but like, yeah, kind of, I guess. But like, if you look at GXL, they have the top 4. I think they're all there.
Their
league
The
is
American
a lot.
team is in the ascendancy.
They've also got better quality teams like XDS.
Yeah, their top 4 is better
Travel there.
overall, and they're all going to be at that LAN. Like, if you threw like 2 European teams and an Australian team, then you have almost a top 8 that we try to do for some reason.
However, if we send 2 Euro teams over there and we finish 5th and 6th respectively, it's a bit of a disappointment.
Well, XDS choke on LAN, so that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, okay. but if we sort of send them here, they're only going to finish top 2, you know, and then we can still get a 3rd. That's a better achievement, I think. So I prefer it another way.
Come on, mate. We
Out
want
of
to know
3
who the best
LANs,
team in the
it
world
only
is.
happened once that they finished top 2, so I don't think it's too big a concern.
So, like, I mean, we should be watching the progress of GXL and the North American lands are coming up. We could be there next summer. Does it make more sense? Am I onto something here?
Well,
Should the World
we
Championships be
might
in
need to find
USA?
another Demo man because I'm scared of flying. So
Really?
You mean if Insomnia
Vagina.
isn't happening, James? For
No,
TF2,
even
or
that.
what's your point?
Just like the logistics of it. Does it not make more sense to go to North America because there's like a
Isn't it a
deeper
lot
pool of
smaller?
talent?
Oh.
think there's-
I don't know.
But
I
I
don't
think,
know.
like, I've not been to the GXL, but the impression I get, like, was a better venue for a World Championships. But if they're going to throw, like, the best thing about I-Series, I guess, is the grand final stage. At least it should be.
But we're
But,
bottom of the building now. Like,
Yeah, that's
it's
what
not
I
going to
mean.
improve.
yeah, and
Even if the
it-
final hadn't been shit, it still would have been shit because it was at 10 a.m.
And it might have, we could have maybe got billing moved up higher for next year if this final was good, but it wasn't. So I'm sorry.
Thanks, Epson.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was just a thought that came into my head at some point.
It might
But-
be, but like there also might be somewhere better than that yet. Like Lithuania, maybe?
I don't know why LAN we just didn't host our own finals because production, from what I heard, was pretty shit on the main stage. And I
Should
don't
have had a
know,
rematch straight after.
the mix up, no, because they were just fucking lost more. Because the mix up EPSI game was pretty decent, and I don't know if people were actually satisfied with the stage that we had, and if they felt that that would suffice. I felt like, well, actually, I was playing, so I have no idea personally, but it seemed like it was all right.
It
So
would have
I
been
don't know
just
why.
fine, I think. But like multiplayer did also give us that, I guess. So
Yeah,
would GXL give you that amount of space to work with?
I think it's weird because multiplayer give us a lot of support, but then they just sort of fuck us with the 9 a.m. start.
Like, it doesn't make any business sense for them.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know the numbers or whatever, but I feel like, you know, multiplayer giving us all this support based off the history they have with TF2 rather than like the numbers or the financial sense it made.
I'm sure the 7 PM
how
Halo
long is that
piece for
gonna...
the eyes.
And now that Byte's gone, like, that's a valuable part of that relationship that needs to be maintained or rebuilt or something. I know people did complain about the timing of the final and stuff. It was a bit anticlimactic, but behind the scenes there's a lot of stuff Multiplay do in terms of supporting the production, and I'm sure supporting the teams as well. Like, some people got computers, didn't they? Multiplay or Eclipse. Like, they do sort of bend over backwards for the TF2 community.
Yeah.
Even though we're not that big, and I don't know. I like to imagine that we could host a better event ourselves, but at the same time, there's probably a lot that Multiplay do that most people don't realise.
It's fine. Just leave it to Ari. He'll fix it all. We can just sit here and say
Come
it's
back,
easy. He'll do the rest.
I'm trying to look at the list of things written down here. I don't think there's much else to talk about, and this has been going on for a long time. I will say that the nation's going to be going into the elimination stage. The sixes I'm talking about here.
Forgot about that.
We'll be casting that on TFTV. I'll start organising things, get everybody shape. The Highlander... I don't know, man. I haven't actually... The groups are finished. I can tell you that... Sonny, are you still here?
Yep.
Is it the top one from every group goes through, or two?
Top 2.
So it's going to be Wales, Germany, Portugal, Iceland, England, Austria, Denmark, Israel, Russia, Lithuania, Finland, Norway, Sweden, Italy, France, and Belgium.
Aren't these matches meant to be played this week?
Yeah.
So why are the fixtures not out? It's like
because
Monday now.
The tiebreaker was played yesterday. Oh, it wasn't played, it was defaulted by Finland.
So you're going to give us extra days to play then, because we couldn't use Monday?
You can still use Monday.
Like,
there's still 23 hours and 40 minutes left of Monday, mate.
Right. But not really, though.
There's also going to be the Highlander Nations Cup final coming up sometime soon. And Highlander Open is still happening, and that's getting into the later stages as well. I see there's a post just there in ETFL with the sick medals, maybe the nicest medals I've ever seen in TF2. Unfortunately, we can't play because we're not new players. Yeah, look at the ETFL front page. There's a post there from John.
Have you seen the new ETFL medals?
New ETFL World ones are pretty nice.
Not as nice as these.
Do I get one of those, Sonny, for finishing first last season?
Yeah.
Sick. Can't wait for the next one.
The timeline.
They're sick. The Highlander ones are sick.
Yeah, they are, really. They're amazing.
Holy shit.
I might play Highlander now just for that fucking medal.
You can't get that. That's from...
the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
That was
Who was that,
John sort of whispering into it. He does that sometimes.
What did he even say?
He says, I hope you like them.
I went for a lot of foot.
Yeah.
Why did he say it like such a creep?
I don't know.
I think it's for the added effect.
I was like clicking on my Windows trying to work out what opened.
Yeah, so John, what stage is the Highlander Open at? What's the timeline for that? When will we expect to see the finals? He's messaging me on Steam. Highlander Open round 4 of playoffs is happening right now. Kaidus, your significant other's playing in that competition, right?
Nah, she got knocked out. They suck.
Oh, heartbreak.
Although they should have got the default win, but John screwed them over. This guy has no consistency in his rules.
Who was that again?
John.
Big John.
Holy shit!
What did he say?
He's always doing different voices.
He said it wasn't me.
Okay. There's much else on the agenda here. Anybody else getting to get off their chest, speak now, or forever hold your peace? Excellent. Is anybody here on the panel have a blog they would like to promote?
Yeah, it's WARHURYEAH.com. I'm going to be doing like a massive Demoman Bible thing, which is just going to teach new players on getting into the class.
I would like everybody to get excited about the Lithuanian LAN. I think it's going by the name of Beta
Shuri
LAN
LAN.
now. I will probably attend
I will
to
probably
cast
attend.
or play or whatever is required. I think everybody should seriously consider it. I want you all to take season 19 seriously.
I heard Sonny Black is coming.
I'll take it seriously. I'll continue to cast. And everybody check out maincall.tf, saloon.tf, check out all these interesting new projects. That's all I got. I can't really think of much else.
Please don't all off class next season. Someone
Ski just gonna roam for my team.
please stay on class.
No.
I don't want to. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna banter. Not tonight.
Go ahead. Spit it out,
No.
man.
Are you gonna say it wouldn't make much difference?
What? I wanted to say I've seen Zeppers practicing roaming lately in double mixes, and it contains sniping 24/7. So the flank of that team is going to be awesome, with Zeba being dead and Zeppers sniping from the distance.
Zappers won't be able to snipe because Zeba will cover that as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, okay.
All right.
Go scout is
Then,
Zeba's playground.
I'm going to wrap things up. Keep an eye on teamfortress.tv. We will be resuming business with the Nations Cup coverage probably from next week onwards. So yeah, get excited about TF2. Sorry for being so slow-witted today, but I am very hungover. But thank you and good night.